about Tuesday night, the way it ended. It ended in the way of nobody really being able to do anything because we was we had to come off air abruptly because the whole service decided to go down. And there was a bit of a pain last night. Pro-Am did not happen. It did not happen behind no stream or anything. It did not happen at all due to servers going down. So we are back. We are back with this Pro Grid. 28 cars. Great field for tonight. Still another strong showing on the grids. And we hope, we touch the wood on the desk in front of us and hope that the servers hold out tonight because we are looking at what could potentially be a solid night's worth of racing. I'm your host, Matthew Duffy, joined in the commentary box, as always, by my partner in crime, Sweet Sticky, Kelly Davis. Welcome, good evening. How are we? Looking forward to this one?
Mate. Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to every week, Matt, because racing is so good here at SimPlay. Why wouldn't you look forward to everyone? But yes, absolutely, of course. Welcome everyone. Hope everyone's in good spirits this evening, and looking forward to another great night.
As we said, the servers have played an issue. They played a big part, so we hope that we get a full night's worth of action tonight. Just to run you through a few things, if we don't get a good portion of the racing done tonight, we will then move to next week of Misano, of Pro and Pro-Am. And they will both be done together. So let's see, and touch wood, like we said, that everything runs well. But Misano, tricky circuit, Kelly, track limits will be the biggest talking point, I think, tonight. But also, hearing a few conversations off air, tyres playing a bit of an issue. Without naming names, but tyres have been spoken about, and whether that was drivers pushing too hard on a sprint run or whatever it may have been, it's just going to be an interesting one.
Oh, let's hope so, because really the tyres haven't given us that much upset as we were hoping this season with the 70-minute feature race. They haven't really been too much of a problem. So, yeah, it would be great to hope that we do have tyre problems and everyone struggles. In the chat, Matt, they're saying that the audio is terrible.
Yep, just noticed that. Just change that. Hopefully that makes.
Hopefully that's better.
Yeah, hopefully that has sorted that. So the chat could let us know if it's okay, and we'll hopefully be on our way. But while we go through, let's run through them championship standings as we look at them after 5 weeks of racing. So obviously Pro lost Cota earlier on in the season. So this is technically week 6 for the pros. It's Williams who leads the way by 12 points from Kieran O'Reilly. Sylph down in 3rd place from Carlos in 4th. Ben Rook is P5. Tardock is in 6th, obviously broken hands, keeping him out for a while. Hoop at 7th. Dan is 8th with McGowan in 9th. Now, them top 9, 94 points in it. There's 133 points up for grabs in a week. So, huge points to play for. Anything can happen yet. Cloudens then P10, 106 behind. Ozer's P11. 108 behind, De Bont's 122 behind, P12. So top 12 are within 1 week's worth of points, of getting to the top. That obviously depends on people not being here, of course, but a lot can happen. Matt Wright, P13, he leads in gold from Mike Matthews by 2 points. Overtakers 15th place from Snai, with Hibbs in 17th, Van Zyl from Skunky, with Ledger, Goudet, Ramsel, Stardock, Cairns, Cardno, Hoffer, Harris, Smith, Lino, Heo, Clace, Millington, Stein, and then Sullivan. Excuse me. In that Constructors' Championship, it is that of Yin Yang Racing leading the way, 42 points clear of Dapper Racing. MSA are 43 behind, with Team Audio Sport 92 behind. You could score 255 points in a week in the Teams Championship, so huge points there. Cloud9 are P5 at 246 behind. Then it's Bam 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 Racing from Team GBR, SimPlay Racing, Team RRM, Greasy Bandits, Roadrunner Motors, AS Racing, Utopia Motorsport, Full Send Fjord Lords, Quantum Motorsport, Afrikaans Racing, and Effect Motorsport. Bringing up the rear in that one, Kelly, in what is looking to be a pretty juicy night's worth of action. 1 second, just over 1 second, separate the top 17 cars. Bearing in mind, all could be on different strategies. We are in for what could be a cracking night's worth of racing.
Absolutely, and apparently our sound is fixed because Zippy sounds good. I always sound good, Susie. That's never a problem. So yes, it is looking like a good night's race. What do we think of this Misano track, Matthew? What do we think is going to be the the characteristics are going to. Is it going to be a strategy night? Is it going to be an overtake night? I see a couple of overtaking opportunities. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think we're going to be in for a real mixed bag. I think tyres could play a part. We're 35 degrees track temp. It is a very...
It's quite hot.
You've got to think it's a bike circuit, so it may hurt the tyres a little more in a car. You know, bikes, obviously, the layout of this track is made for MotoGP and not for, you know, tin-top cars, GT cars. So I think tyres could be an issue towards the end of the race. We'll see what happens in terms of people take it. It's only going to get hotter as we get into the races. But I think we could have a mixed night. Very easy to defend around here, but also, you know, great opportunities to overtake and attack.
Yeah, I think the section through 4, 5 and 6, the slow section, right-hander, left-hander, always tricky on traction through there. So we've seen a lot of incidents there in the past on this track in those few corners. But then you get onto a bit of a middle straight, and I think there's an overtaking opportunity at the end of that. Might be turn 7, maybe the hairpin turn, might be an opportunity there. And again, I mean, it's getting in behind on the back bumper of someone to be able to throw one up the inside. Towards the back of the circuit, there's the tricky high speed section at the back, the back straight as it were. When you get to the end of that, it's a quick right and another quick right, but you're right on the edge there as well, Matt, aren't you? Right on the edge of track limits. For that fast right-hander as you break down to another hairpin. So, as you say, it's bike track, but it's an interesting layout and keeps these drivers on their feet, I feel.
Yeah, I feel it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be... Let's see what plays out, because I think this could be a great night's worth of racing. No matter what happens here tonight, I think we're in for an absolute belting race, an absolute cracking night worth of action. Just looking at this grid order, looks a beautiful grid as well, doesn't it? We've got 20 odd cars. There is a gap, hey ho, and McGowan aren't making tonight's first race, which is a shame to see. But you know, real life world stuff comes first.
Yeah,
but we've
lost a couple. Sorry, mate. We've lost a couple since the beginning of the season now, haven't we? For one reason and another. We have, you know, if there's a couple of characters that you see are missing, then you know they've dropped out or whatever has happened. So we're starting to, lose a few here and there.
We are indeed, and again, we can only apologise about server issues over the last couple of nights. So if you haven't seen any action, this will be why. But we've got, Kelly, a fantastic grid. 10 seconds till the racing is underway. Who's your money on looking at the grid?
Well, yeah, good question. Let's get it out of the way. Dan looking quick, of course. Looking good in practice. Seems to be comfortable. Overtaker on pole. That's going to be, with Yam out front, that's going to be a tough one to overtake the overtaker. And
he's got no pesky white McLarens dive bombing him at corners.
No pesky white McLarens. Of course, we got no Tardock. Silt is back this week. Tardock out with a broken hand. He could be basically out for the rest of the season with that injury. So that's him out of the way. De Bont's been quick as well. Yeah.
Cloud and P3.
De Bont was just behind Dan in practice, so between Overtaker and De Bont, I'm going to go. I've already ruined Overtaker's practice when I crashed into him in practice earlier when we were playing about. So I won't ruin his race by picking him. So I'll go for De Bont.
I'm going Dan.
I think that's a good shout.
I'm going Dan. The poll is up. Overtaker, De Bont or Dan Davis are your options. Or if you think other, please comment and let us know who you think on this one then. Right, the grid order.
Plenty of chat. Plenty of chat going on tonight. Let's keep it coming all night. We love to see your comments, even when you're being horrible. We still, well, not horrible, you know what I mean, when you're being cheeky. Right, we still love to hear your comments. So please do keep them coming. There's a nice chat going on out there this evening. So please keep it coming.
The grid order for tonight's race then is as follows. Obviously, Heyo Up will be promoted. It is Overtaker on the front row from De Bont in what looks to be an epic front row. The second row is a classic. Dan Davis, Jamal Clouden, Dan Davis. how they've come to blows and rivalries formed between them two. Hupert and Ben Ruck will be on row 3. Row number 4 will be that of Carlos and Silf. A great row there. In that one, that could be a brilliant row for the Ferraris. O'Reilly and Williams, the two surprise cars, doing the job. They're leading the championship, starting at the back in the platinum category. Leader in gold will be that of Steve Millington from Clace, going from P number 12. It's then Rob Smith. Sorry, it should be Heyo and Rob Smith. It's now Rob Smith and Harris making it a Utopia Motorsport all row there. It'll then be Cardno and Keynes lining up alongside, Hoffer and Cardno from then Keynes and Ramsel in what will be a good row there. Then it's obviously Ledger and Goudet. If you're wondering why, Keynes, Ramsel, Ledger, Goudet. I'm not seeing Stardog in, so maybe Stardog hasn't got in either, so that's another one missed the start line as well. But then it'll be Goudet, Ledger, Skunky from then that of Van Zyl, Mike Matthews, Hibbs and Matt Wright. Mike Matthews got ahead a little bit somewhere as we're coming to the end of the formation. Don't you love when you do all the grid order graphics and people don't make the start? It's brilliant. But it's one of them things. Either way, the race is about to get underway, and we're back to racing action here at SimPlay Motorsport. And let's see what will happen. Ford from Ferrari, from McLaren, from Lamborghini, from BMW. It's green and go here for the 13th round of the season. It's a heck of a launch from that of Clouden. It looks like that De Bont didn't get away well. Clouden and Dan just squeezing each other a little bit. Coming into turn 1, turn 2. Clouden goes very deep. That's allowed Hooper to way through. Hooper to Clouden's made contact, and that's put Clouden off the track. Dan now side by side with Hooper. Taker and De Bont pretty much away well. Dan just closing the door a little bit on Hooper there. Hooper gets up the inside. Carlos is up the inside of Ben just behind. This is a great start to this race. We've lost that battle at the front, and there's contact, and it is that of Carlos, and it is that of Silf. We said that could be an interesting row. There's one of the AS Lamborghinis off as well. Believe that could be Cardno, and 3 cars off, but it's Overtaker from De Bont early doors, and they're already attacking each other.
Absolutely, that's given Stealth an absolute nightmare. That spun him right round. It's going to be really difficult to recover from that. Hooper getting his elbows out on the 10 times champion and making it stick. He's driving really well, really aggressively, and making it work. Ben come up behind his teammate as they're in 4th and 5th for Team Audio Sport, but at the moment it's Overtaker from De Bont from Hooper, as we haven't even made the end of lap 1 yet.
We haven't, and Harris has just gone up the inside of Millington here. This is a great little move, fast section this. And in the real world, that's where we saw a Lamborghini catch on fire at the weekend as GT World Challenge was at Misano. And Harris, lovely move up the inside there. We've then got Hoffer, Kane, Smith, Ramsel from Goudet, Ledger, Skunky, Van Zyl, Hibbs, Mike Matthews, Matt Wright. And then, like I say, Clouden, Carlos, Silf and Cardno all down the rear. Cardno with some big damage. De Bont not letting Overtaker escape massively here, though. Dan and Ben hounding down after the BMW as we see early pit runners coming to the pit lane. Clace and Williams. Keynes and Williams both into the pits. Possibly a good strategy to get out of that traffic here. And Dan already trying to put that BMW under pressure at this moment in this race. O'Reilly though, right on the back. And a shout out to Clays running up in P7 at the minute in that gold category.
Absolutely, yeah, doing a cracking job in that gold, and 7th overall from other people's nightmares, really. I was on board with Williams to start with, and then I jumped off him. I don't know what happened. Oh, he's in the pits.
He's in the pits.
Was he in a good position before he went in, or did he have dramas?
I think he was just on the back of O'Reilly ahead of Clay, so I think he was in that P7 mark.
So it wasn't too bad.
Dropped him down the order a little bit, but not too bad as we go at the moment. Lovely so far from the leaders, but it's Overtaker. De Bont, fastest man on circuit is De Bont right now. But Hooper, look at this train behind Hooper. Dan, Ben, O'Reilly, big gap back to Clayson with Harris there. Then it's Millington on the back of with Tobias Hoffer on the back of him. That Merc power. Merc's got a good bit of bob for this circuit this week. Good to see the Merc being used quite well. In fact, I think the Mercedes-Benz is the 2nd or 3rd most pop car as the Ford Mustang of Rob Smith nearly into the boot lid of Tobias Hoffer there. Skunky and Van Zyl coming through with Goudet, who is down in 16th place. Ramsel's moved up to P12, so Ramsel making moves as well.
Dan goes in the pits. I was on board with Ben Rook, who was just behind Dan, he was just behind Hooper. Hooper had a bit of a loose moment through the final sector, and Dan dives in the pits, gets that pit stop out of the way. I don't think he was going to find a way around Hooper. And Hooper driving like he does, he's got a certain style, I call it the youth style. Seems to hang that BMW out like he stole it, but it takes him forward and great to watch.
It does. It is great to watch indeed. Ben Rook, though, has got that of Kieran O'Reilly hassling the back of him at the moment as we go on board with O'Reilly. Now you can just see Ben's Lamborghini just pull away slightly on this first straight here. Obviously a bit more grunt in a straight line for the Lambo over that of the Honda, but the NSX doing a terrific job this season. O'Reilly has really sort of made that Honda work compared to last season, where it had a few moments, didn't it, last season, Kelly? This year he seems to have just found a bit more of a rhythm with it.
Yeah, he's opted to stick with it and learn the car the best he can, and he's making a cracking job of taming that Honda, that's for sure. You know, it got its characteristics like every car. You know, it's got strengths and weaknesses, but he seems to stick with it, making it work and work well.
We've not seen Michael Harris have a good run so far this season. We're waiting to see Harris get back to his best. He's on the back of the gold leader at the moment in that of Claes. McLaren versus Audi around here at Misano in the Emilia Romagna section of Italy, same as Imola, so pretty close to each other is Misano, and Harris decides to pull in as well.
Yeah, Harris, O'Reilly and Rook all opting for the pits, and again Ben pulled up to the back of Hooper reasonably quickly in that last lap, so I think Ben's saying, right, let's get out from behind him. It's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out, where Hooper ends up when it all pans out after these pit stops. Stop go for number 7. Who's that?
That's the stop go. Speeding in the pit lane was for Cardno. That's just to remind us that he's got 2 laps left to do his pit stop after speeding in the pit lane. Great stop from Mike Matthews, by the way. Silf and Carlos are yet to pit, but Mike Matthews has jumped Skunky, Van Zyl, Hibbs in that pit lane as well. So good stop from Mike at this moment in time. We've got Ben, Goudet, O'Reilly, Harris, Ledger and Millington all coming out the pits. It's a long pit exit before you come off the limiter here as well.
It is.
So really long one. And this is Dan Davis as O'Reilly is off the limiter. So is Ben Rook. Dan slots in front of Ben, and Williams gets the jump on O'Reilly. So the undercut proving that it works pretty well there. Then there is Keynes, Rob Smith, Ramsell. Then it's Mike Matthews. Not yet saw John Gooday emerge from the pit lane. He is now, and that just shows you how long it is. That pit exit, from the last garage to where the pit line is such a wait. Yeah,
absolutely is. It's a weird pit lane, very much so, as Williams goes very deep on the exit, the hairpin, and just getting those tyres. Oh no, he's done a couple of laps, hasn't he? So just a little bit loose on the back end of that Mercedes, and Hooper now goes into the pits. I'm interested to see where Hooper ends up.
Yeah, as am I, because he's obviously responding to Ben. He's gone 2 laps longer than Dan. So this is going to be an interesting one. Steve Millington has been the biggest loser in the pit stops here, down to 24th, was up there in the gold category at one stage, and now Ramsell trying to get onto the back of that of Rob Smith. Rob Smith trying to chase down Keynes, and it's currently Claes your net leader. Silf on the back of Carlos here. P4 and 5.
Hooper's away. He's over. He's on that very long pit lane that we were saying about. Dan's now coming to the start-finish line. He's got Ben Rook just a little bit behind him as well. Where is Hooper? Hooper is still trundling along really slowly. I can see out the side of his car over the fence. I can't now. The tyres are in the way. But I think Dan's going to get through.
Yeah, Dan's through.
Yes,
Dan is through. Ben is through as well.
Ben's through.
That's a great result. You could hear Hooper come off the limiter, Kelly, on board with Dan and Ben there. So you could hear the BMW come off the limiter. So undercut strong here. Silf on the back of Carlos, just going to drop down to Mike Matthews, who's on the back of Ledger at the moment. So let's see what he can do. Halfway through the first race already. Top 6 still yet to pit. So strategy still developing here. And Cloud, you have to say, Overtaker has got this one under control at the minute with 1.1 clear of the bomb.
Absolutely, I'm glad I didn't pick him, because he would be Alf by now, because commentator's curse is a real thing. Good evening to some of the people in the chat. Benny, Furious Grandad, hello Tony, Sweet and Sticky, Ian Best, Shake and Bake, yeah, good to see you Ian. I missed you last week at in the Pro-Am. I really missed seeing you in my rear view mirror last week, so hopefully I'll see you there soon. and hello to all the others in the chat. Keep your comments coming. We love the chit chat. Oh, Dan's dropped it. Dan's gone backwards.
So Dan's dropped it. We're currently on board with Rob Ramsell, having a good little scrap here with that of Rob Smith and Patrick Ledger. Did you see what had happened to Dan Kelly, or?
No, I was a couple of cars back. I just saw him backwards in the gravel, but I don't think he wasn't around anybody. I think he just lost it all by himself.
Well, he's come out. He's rejoined just in front of this scrap further down the straight on that of Michael Harris. And Rob Ramsell at the minute just now having to defend from that of Patrick Ledger, who is going to pull out and have a look here into turn one. Ledger looks to that inside line. Ramsell gives him the room. They just touch doors a little bit, but Rubbin's racing, as they say. Ramsell going to look back at turn two. He'll have the outside line for turn three. Great bit of action this. Mike Matthews going to try and follow Ledger through. Does he get alongside Rob Ramsell? I think he may have done, you know. He does indeed as they come into turn four. Mike backs out of that one. Wasn't fully confident to getting up the inside, so Ramsell loses out to Ledger. Now Ledger can hunt down that of Rob Smith, but Dan Davis round, and that puts Ben Rook up front. De Bont got out ahead of them all, so he's managed to build a gap to stay out in front. Undercut, we said, was strong, looking to maybe undercut Overtaker here with a bit of clear air.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans out. De Bont did have a bit of time as Williams has a look up the inside of Hooper into as they go onto the back straight. This is going to be a challenge of raw power here at the moment, but Hooper stays in front. And the BMW and the Mercedes quite evenly matched on straight line speed as Hooper stays in their back end, twitching around again. Hooper is great to watch. He really is. Sorry, Kelly, here comes Mike Matthews looking up the inside of Rob, the fast part of the back end of the circuit. Rob just understeers a little wide. He'll bring that back onto track. Skunky now looks to get up the inside of Ramsell, and that could be Rob, who's lost 2 places. Manages to keep it around the outside of the hairpin. Rob now defending that inside line, doesn't get through it that cleanly, and Skunky manages to take the place. Now Rob's coming under pressure from Matt Wright round the outside of the final corner. Matt Wright's looking on Ramsell. He's had a terrible time of it. Van Zil's looking to the outside of Matt Wright. They chase as they run down towards turn one. It is all happening in the backfield here. That is Clouden attacking the outside of Hibbs. I think they just touch doors there. They may have just rubbed a little bit, but nothing too major. Clouden gets through on Hibbs, and Ramsell is losing out. That's Carlos who's just come out of the pits. Bit of hip and shoulder from Ramsell there onto Carlos, and Ramsell manages to keep hold of that place over him, but Matt Wright and Van Zyl both didn't get through. Van Zyl though did pass Matt Wright, so it is all happening down this bottom end of the field. And they're very close, aren't they? It's, where are we? About 14th all the way back, is it? Somewhere like that. All the way back are really quite close together, and quite a scrap going on as the front ones, the front guys are kind of stationary, although O'Reilly is now coming onto the back of Williams, and Williams is now putting pressure on Hooper, giving Ben Rook the opportunity to pull away into the distance a little bit. This is shaping up into quite a good scrap. O'Reilly, Williams and Hooper. Overtaker is on his way out the pits. De Bont is coming through towards the penultimate corner, now into the final corner. Overtaker's on his way out the pits. Clace is in the pits. Keep your eye on Clace versus Harris. That was the fight for the gold lead. As Overtaker comes out the pit lane now, he's still on that long pit limiter. De Bont now, we're just going to stay on board him a second, in towards turn one. He'll then quickly get it into turn two now. Overtaker's just been released off of his pit limiter. It's a straight run out the pit. There is Taker in front. Good stop. Overtaker stays in front. Williams, like you say, Hooperton, O'Reilly having a great scrap here. Yeah. This is for P5, 6, 7 and 8. For P5, 6 and 7, because they've passed Clace in the pit lane. In fact, where is Clace? Because he's not come out ahead of Harris. He's going to be well down this order at the moment, just waiting to see him emerge. And we can't just yet. That's Carlos attacking the back of that of Rob Ramsell. Clouden goes up the inside, and Matt Wright has to park it on the apex because he took such a tight line in. Clouden gets through, and I don't actually know where Clace has come out the pit lane here, so he's tumbled down quite the way. Absolutely. Williams still pressuring Hooper. Hooper seems to be like struggling with traction. He's also a sponge because he just soaks up the pressure. He certainly does, and the back end of that BMW wagging around on every corner. He seems to have back end waggling on traction all the time. Every time he accelerates, back end complaining, but he seems to be able to keep hold of it quite well and defend from Williams. So Williams is having a look here, having a look there, still can't find a way through, but O'Reilly now right on the back of Williams, so close he could lean over and touch the back of that Mercedes. This is really hotting up into quite the scrap.
I've seen O'Reilly closer. Let's go back to Zandvoort a few weeks
True,
ago. I've seen O'Reilly closer. But what this is doing is
race.
playing dividends for Dan Davis.
Yep.
We're not yet on the final lap. Dan's only 1.4 behind. He's the fastest man on circuit at the minute, is Dan Davis. Fastest lap to his race. And it's going to be an interesting one. Number one fan, Finn fan, that is Langley in the chat saying that I think Dan threw this one away. I'm going to have to kind of agree with you, really. Don't know the mistake he made, but it was Dan's. I think he's the one who's had the pace in this Misano race. Hooper takes a bit of a tighter line. That could compromise him through turn number 6. Onto the first straight they come. Williams pulls out, nearly loses it onto the grass. Now gets bumper to bumper. He's got the inside line over that of Hooper at the minute. Hooper has to bail to the outside. Williams is going to tuck up the inside line. A little tighter through the hairpin. Hooper sliding out. O'Reilly may fancy a look through the middle. They just rub doors a little bit. Mercedes versus BMW. And Hooper hangs on in there for another day. O'Reilly now has a sniff up the inside of Williams. He gets the position instead. So out of all of that, Williams, who could have gained one, loses one, and now he's got Dan Davis for company.
Absolutely, yep. And as you say, Dan's now joined the party. He is the quickest man on track, so he's now there. There could still be handbags here as Williams goes right round the outside of O'Reilly. He does run wide. He'll probably get a track limits for that, but he's still on the outside of O'Reilly. Doing absolute wonders with that Mercedes and putting it in places you just don't think it can go. They're still side by side.
That's pure Mercedes grunt over the Honda NSX coming into the final corner. Nearly bumper to bumper. We're on the final lap. They do touch, and O'Reilly's in a wall, and Williams is around as well. I don't know how Williams has ended up around, but Williams also off. Dan Davis will be the beneficiary, gaining 2 places. Harris as well will come through. Cairns up into second place in gold. O'Reilly rejoins just ahead of Patrick Ledger. Williams is tumbling down the order as we speak. He's only just rejoined behind that of John Goudet at the moment. What was shaping out to be a great battle has ended in disaster, but half a second between Overtaker and De Bont for the lead of this race on the last lap.
Yeah, I don't think that was either their fault. They were side by side for so long, and I was riding on board with Dan. I didn't see any kind of poor driving. I just think they got together, which sent them both off one direction and the other. So I think it was just one of those things personally. But if there's something to be looked at, the stewards will end up looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. Overtaker now has got De Bont just there for the taking, coming into the final part of this circuit. Overtaker took a sprint win last week, could be on for back-to-back sprint wins here tonight at Misano. Back-to-back sprint wins from Hungaroring to Misano. De Bont will want to put a race win to his name, his first race win. It'll be at SimPlay Motorsport as well. They come into the penultimate corner. It looks like Overtaker's going to have this one done. It's going to be a sprint win for Overtaker, it looks like, although he's a little slow and a little wide out the final corner, but it will be sprint win for Overtaker. De Bont will be second place, a solid third for Ben Rook in this one. Fourth place is going to go the way of Hoopert. Great job from him. Dan Davis P5 with fastest lap. Michael Harris P6 and a gold win. Cairns P7. Rob Smith P8. O'Reilly Knight from Ledger. Mike Matthews. Sylph P12 from Carlos 13th. Ramsell P14 ahead of Van Zyl and Jamal Clouden. Matt Wright 17th with Hibbs. Hoffer 19th ahead of ahead of Goudet, who gets ahead of Clace at the very end. And then it's Williams, Skunky. And then not sure what happened to Millington. And we just await Cardno to come around, who is a couple of laps down. But Kelly, that was an opening race to be remembered.
Absolutely, and you know the problem with this sprint is it happens so quickly you can't even get comfortable when it's over. So we've got a 70-minute feature race coming, so we can get a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, it's fast and furious out there, Matt.
Fast and furious out there, and like Kelly says, we have got a 70-minute feature race coming your way. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Go to the toilet, grab a drink, get what you need, because we've got 70 more minutes coming your way. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, for qualifying here for Misano. Carlos is the first man out on track, as we can see. And it was a heck of a race one in which Michael Harris took his first category win of the season. Michael Harris, who's been up the sharp end of the grid over the years. You know, we're not seeing him at his best, I think, this season. But it was an interesting one. That win as well gave Ford Mustang its 23rd race win. It's one away from equaling the Honda, which would be a travesty, let's be honest. And the podium, the podiums went the way. Ford got its 55th podium. Ferrari got its 187th, tying it with BMW, and Lamborghini got its 246th podium in the hands of Ben. We're into qualifying now, so a couple more driver stats. Let's find that of Overtaker, who now goes ahead of Jamie Brazier on race wins. 35 race wins to his name, so he goes ahead of Jamie Brazier. Podium for Overtaker puts him on 95 podiums. We also then got the podium for Carlos and for Rook. Now let me just find them while we await for qualifying times to come in. That was Ben Rook's 7th podium, and for Carlos that was his 10th podium since racing at SimPlay Motorsport. So that is that done. Job done. Overtaker's second win around Misano in the history that we have done Misano. Most successful is O'Reilly, based off of Tuesday night. 2 poles, 3 wins based off of Tuesday night and his previous series. Apart from that, Ratchet, you may AA Ratchet from the Motive and early SimPlay days. He one pole, 2 wins. De Silva 1 pole, 2 wins. Holty's on 2 wins, and Overtaker now on 2 wins. Will Friedman a pole and 2 wins, as well as Richie Michelle a pole and 2 wins. But qualifying times are about to fastly come in, Kelly, here.
Yeah.
As drivers complete their first runs in what is shaping up to be a great night of Misano racing.
Absolutely, and just about everybody on track. They all went out very, very quickly to get on with it and get a time down. And as I said, the track is extremely busy, and Ben sets the benchmark at a 34.0. Silth and Carlos come in a few tenths behind all that, as now it's going to start looking like a fruit machine as these names and numbers start to tumble one by one. Dan goes quickest, only 200ths quicker than his teammate, so Woodio Sport front row at the moment, but I'm sure that will change as we continue through. Who else is moving quickly? Hibbs and Ramsell a little bit off the pace. That is good. They've got plenty of time to improve their lap times.
Indeed they have. Here comes O'Reilly around the final corner, down towards the line. He comes, goes and puts himself up into P4. What about Hupert? Only 16... crossed the line now, only 8th place at the moment, the 302. That is skunky. We have got Ian McGowan in. We did lose Rob Smith. He's struggling with internet at home. It's Stardog, sorry, not Rob Smith. It's Stardog. He's struggling with internet at home, which is why he didn't take the first race. We're expecting hopefully Stardog and Heyo in as well. Harris in the pits. He's got a qualifying ban that he is having to serve. That reminds me, because the pro qualifying bans are for Heyo, who's not here in this qualifying. So unless he comes into the lobby after qualifying, Harris, Sully, but Sully's not here either. So interesting to see at the moment.
Their bans kick on, don't they, to the next one?
Their bans would kick on to the next one, yeah. So if Heyo comes in, he may have served his ban by not being in the lobby. So we'll see what happens. Mike Matthews to the line. He moves up to P8, 2/10, separating the top 8. That is some lap time between them all.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, as you say, top 10, half a second, no further than that. As the times tumble, De Bont goes quickest, takes a quarter of a second over Dan with that lap time. That's flying in the Ferrari, that is.
Tardock in the chat. Overtaker won the first race. Good evening to Chris in there, as well as Hibbs. 17th place. Who are we picking up now? Let's go and pick up O'Reilly. P8 in this session. P9 now in this session as drivers go quicker in this one. O'Reilly to the line, half a second off in his beautiful Honda. Matches De Bont identically.
Of course, De Bont doing it first. It makes him, puts him in front, as that always works. But O'Reilly, absolutely making that Honda sing, isn't he?
Beautiful car, beautiful engine, beautiful everything on that piece of machinery.
Steady
as Clace stays P7. And we turn to Carlos. No need to steady on. Imagine that. Imagine the Honda with audio sport colours. It'd be your favourite thing ever.
That would be a very, very cold day in hell. That would.
We'll arrange. I'll speak with Ben in the off season. 442. Carlos to the line. Stays P13. Here comes Sylph, P10 at the moment, car number 1. He's actually running the right number for a change because I got it right and remembered this week. He moves up into third place, 18 thousandths of a second, separating the top 3. That is close.
Very close indeed. And we'll see if anybody goes a little bit quicker than that. Has Dan got it in him? Has Ben got it in him?
De Bont's gone quicker, Kelly.
Yeah. Gone quicker again, De Bont. So he's found another quarter of a second, De Bont has. That's amazing.
Chris asked, how did Audio Sport do? Sorry I missed race 1. Packing for holiday. That's poor.
Sorry for some. Where you
poor
going?
Excuses. Ben got third place. Dan was fifth after his own spin. Here comes O'Reilly, 2.5 tenths. Can he find that to put the Honda on the pole position? No, he can't. No improvement from O'Reilly there. Times are tumbling down. Heck of a qualifying from Mike to say he was complaining about the track before the race started. Doesn't he always? Now look at him within half a second of De Bont. Makes you sick. Skunky to the line, P16. What about Clace? 6 tenths off. 9 tenths separating the top 18. What a grid!
Yes, indeed. And I mean, look at some of the high runners normally, like Clouden and Carlos. They're only a second. Well, Carlos he's under a second off the pace, but he's only in 18th. Clouden only 3/4 of a second off the ultimate pace, but that puts him 17th with that. As who was that going quicker?
That's Carlos. Ben. Ben up to second to Carlos improved. Ben improved to second place, 84 thousandths of a second. Mike Matthews comes to the line. Doesn't like this place. Goes within a tenth. You can't write it. He's in for a bit of a stickling tonight. Bearing in mind, right, this race didn't nearly happen because Mike put a poll out on the Discord that caused war on Discord today. He's P3. I bet he's glad he rethought his decision to race tonight, Mike Matthews. Currently doing an amazing job in that McLaren, leading in gold. Here comes Hibbs, just over a second. Doesn't find an improvement. The 135 of Matt Wright, who's quite low down, actually 1.1. Finds a bit of time, goes within 9 tenths. 9 tenths separating the top 20 now. It's a great grid.
Yes, it's a very close one, that's for certain, sure.
The Honda's gone provisional pole. Kieran O'Reilly, a tenth to De Bont. Goes provisional pole. What a lap from Kieran there. He's only got one more run. Everybody coming through now may start their last lap. People in the pits are done. I don't know if 442 or 14, that's Carlos and Ben, may just scrape one more in here. Anybody who pits could be done. So let's go to Ben because Carlos is on an invalid lap. Actually, Ramsel and Dan and Mike, and then that of Sylph. I looked at the number 1 and thought of Dan. Ramsel, Sylph, Mike and Dan may get one more run in, but let's see. Carlos to the line on an invalid one, so shouldn't see an improvement. What about Ben? No improvement for Ben. Let's go to the number 1. Don't see Ramsel popping up there anywhere. No. Sylph to the line. Any improvement? Stays P5. What about Dan Davis? Will he squeeze one more run? You bet your bottom dollar he will, and he'll go P3 for his troubles. Patrick Ledger, first man to finish. Goudet's on an invalid one, it's saying. Ledger to the line. Stays P13. Let's find car 21 now, Kelly. Lap time's coming in thick and fast to complete this one. Hoffer, 2.2 off the back. He's looked good in the race. The qualifying's not been his friend in this one at the moment. Does he improve? He does, but stays 2.1 off of it. Is this a pole for the Honda? O'Reilly's coming through the final couple of corners now, Kelly. Bales to the pits. What about McGowan? 3 tenths, very small margin to find to take a pole position. Can he do it? Rounds the final corner. Here we go. Ian McGowan to the line. Goes P6, a small improvement.
Yep. Goes quicker indeed. Still a few to finish, and I'm sure you'll keep an eye on where they are on track. Matt, was Dan the last one across the line?
Believe so. Dan was the last one across the line. Here comes then that of Skunky down the order. Stays P18. Car number 10 of Overtaker goes up to P7. I'm looking for the 442 of Carlos. So here we go. Overtaker, race 1 winner. P7, 8 tenths separate the top 18. Half a second separate the top 12. It is incredibly close. Carlos is in that top 12. He's currently sat 10th. Can he find an improvement? He's got Ben Rook behind him on a lap. Dan's invalidated, so Dan's lap won't count. Carlos moves to 7th. Ben, no improvement there. Ramsell's going to come to the line, keep your eye on the Williams to the line, keep your eye on the 515, and Mike invalidated at the end, so no improvement there. It will be O'Reilly on pole. That qualifying was as exciting as the first race.
It was great, wasn't it? What a great qualifying, absolutely. And a lot of nip and tuck there, but your front or your positions look like this. Kieran O'Reilly in that Honda making it absolutely sing. That Honda's beautiful, isn't it?
Clip that, somebody clip that.
Yeah, you can have that one, Matt. 133.4 is the quickest lap to Bond. Second is an all-audio sport front row. Second row with Dan and Ben Rook. Mike Matthews and McGann. Mike Matthews, look, gold, come on. Someone put a platinum sticker on that car.
It's not even the fact he's gold, though, Kelly, right? It's not even the fact he's gold. It's the beginning of the night. I'm going to struggle. I'm so much slower than everybody else. And bang.
It's what we have to put up with every week. I'm struggling here. I'm not doing very well. How much fuel such and such a car? Honestly, and then what? Goes and sticks it 5th. Look, come on, Michael. You know, so a great, absolute great qualifying for Mike Matthews. McGowan, Carlos overtaking Silth. Silth, I would, I was hoping for Silth was going to do a bit more, but and Williams for that fact. So the guys at the sharp end with a little bit to do. O'Reilly in a great position to score some big points in this championship. He's leading it. Is he not?
Yeah, I'll go through the championship standings on the formation app. I've just been putting this now, but. Yeah, he's leading, and Williams, look at Williams' qualifying, not the best from him at all.
20 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not every track can suit everybody every week, so, but, and we have got the drop scores, of course, if you have a terrible night. Yeah. So, all good. And in the chat is very vibrant this evening. It's great to hear Benny Varga in there. And Chris, you're going to Spa. Are you really? Better hurry up, because the Formula One's about to start. And who else we got in there? And we got Bungle. Bungle's in there. NLR Bungle. Good evening, Andrew. How are you? Hope you're well. Tim's in there.
His name is NLR Bungle. Please tell me he has. Oh, no, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't. No,
I was hoping he had there for a minute.
I've been told that he's being called that in their group now, so brilliant.
There we go.
Good
right. Let's go through them championship standings now. We've inputted that. Just a brief one very quickly. That is O'Reilly's 24th pole position. Ties with myself for 24 poles. He'll smash that because I can't qualify for toffee at the moment. And the Honda manages to get its 22nd pole position, so a good bit of stats there. That will also make him 3 poles, 3 wins at Misano, so he really does tend to like his place. But championship standings, O'Reilly leads from Williams by 15 points. Silf and Ben tied 3rd, 21 points behind. Carlos is 5th, 41. Hooper is 6th, 49. Danny 7th, 63. Tardock is tied with the Bont, 89 points behind. Clouden is 109 behind from McGowan. Then Oza from Overtaker, 13th. Mike Matthews now leads in gold. Look, don't like this place. Not very good here. 5th place leads in gold. What more can we say? He leads 10 points clear of his teammate Matt Wright. Hibbs is 3rd in gold, 16th overall. Then it's Van Zyl, Snye, Ledger, Skunky, Ramsell, Cairns, Goudet, Harris, Smith, Cardno, Stardog, Hoffer, Lino, Clace, Hayho, Millington, Stein and Sullivan. Constructors, Dapper Racing, 7 points clear of Yin Yang Racing with Team Audio Sport P3. Then it's MSA from Cloud9 with SimPlay Racing P6, Bam 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 Racing P7 from Team GBR, Team RRM from Greasy Bandits, Roadrunner Motors, AS Racing, Utopia Motorsport, Full Send Fjord Lords, Quantum Motorsport, Afrikaans Racing and Effect Motorsport, 17th place.
Yes,
Kelly,
indeed. Yes.
Tip for the win.
Oh. O'Reilly's been good all season. It's going to be difficult to look beyond O'Reilly. But I'm going to say De Bont.
I'm looking at the second row, you know. Again,
yeah,
I don't want to jinx him.
Well.
I don't want to jinx him 2 races in a row. Do you know what?
I steered clear of that second row.
You know what?
Completely.
To not curse anybody, I'm going to stay on the fence and not say anybody.
Really?
Clouden missed the start of the race.
Oh, that's not so clever. What's the matter with him? What's he done? But that's weak, Matt. That's weak. You should pick someone.
Fine, Dan Davis. Got to do. I've got to go with my gut feeling.
If you ruin this race now.
Yeah, he's looked good. He's looked good in the long fuel runs. I've got to go Dan Davis. We're about to go green. Round 14, aka 12 of the season due to losing Cota. It's green and go. It's a drive-through for Van Zyl being out of position at the start. It's a good start, though, from Ben Rook. De Bont doesn't get away well. Ben brakes really early. That catches the pack out. Overtaker, I think, hit the back of McGowan into turn 1, being caught out by Ben. And now we've got a race on because O'Reilly leads from De Bont, from Dan Davis, who's already looking to put De Bont under some pressure to the outside of turn 3. Mike Matthews nearly joined Dan, not in the fight, but in his car, as he couldn't get it stopped into 4. Ben's now on the outside of Mike, coming through that turn 4. We're just going to try and jump back to them. We do. Mike's now going to get swamped by Carlos and possibly Sil. Sil's going to look to the outside. Overtaker might fancy this. I think he's too far back. On the brakes early, Silfall on the outside of the curb, gone very wide. That'll allow Overtaker through as well there. So Mike Matthews hot into 4, loses him out 2 places.
Silth went on the outside to avoid being hitting Carlos, and Silth just got hit by somebody. I don't think it was overtaken.
I think again the pack has checked up behind Ben Kelly under the brakes, because Mike tapped the back of Carlos, Silth tapped the back of Mike, Hooper tapped the back of Silth, and now Overtaker's got to run up the inside of Mike Matthews. Thank you, mama, for the carrot, says Overtaker. Through he goes.
Yeah, Silth goes very wide. Probably get a track limits ping up for that one. So Overtaker going forward, and some fast and furious first lap. That was. There was plenty of action going on in that one, and some changes of position. But O'Reilly comfortable out in front right at the moment.
Not sure what's happened to Ramsdale. He's a little off the pack. Obviously, Jamal Clouden missed the start of the race, so he was already on the back foot in this one. So Clouden's got work to do here. But this is going to be interesting. We're watching Williams fight. Overtaker went wide. Has that allowed Mike through? No, it hasn't.
No.
Carlos still ahead, though, at this moment in time. It is all as we are. There is a car, I believe, in the pit lane. That is the 87. That'll be Van Zyl's drive-through penalty that he is doing. Let's just tumble down the grid a little bit. There's Silth, there's Hooper, Williams, then that of Ledger from Clace, from Rob Smith, then Cordner with Cairns and McGowan after that first corner spin. With contact with Overtaker. Matt Wright's just behind, then it's Skunky, Goudet, Hibbs, Hoffer, Harris, Millington, Ramsdale down the back. Not sure what has happened to Ramsdale. Drive through clear. Clouden has got past Van Zyl. Them two's got a long race to get onto the back of this pack. Out front though, De Bont putting O'Reilly under pressure.
Yes, indeed, and we're only halfway through the second lap. Still a long way to go. As classically said, you can't win the race in the first corner, but you can certainly lose it, and it's a long race. I wondered if Dan was going to try and attack a little bit harder, but he tends to think these things through a little bit. We've got a long way to go, and you can't be doing with going backwards at this stage and having an off and losing positions. You need to play it cool a little bit.
Indeed you can't, and this is probably the second hottest race to Barcelona. Barcelona touched 42, 43 degrees, let's not forget track temperature. This is up at 37, and it's only going to get warmer in this race. Down to Overtaker, he's on the back of Carlos at the minute.
Yeah, going to be interesting on the tyres, Matt, as we were hoping it would be. And we'll see if anyone can do it on one set of tyres. We don't know what happened last night, because unfortunately it didn't happen. So we don't know if anyone went the distance. So we're going to find out this evening. Could be touch and go on this one, Matt.
Could be touch and go. That's that's Matt Wright in the middle of a Skunky McGowan sandwich. John Goodhead looked to the outside of Skunky coming onto the first straight there, as Skunky just has a little wiggle, possibly just checking something. I'm not sure why there'd be a bit of a wiggle there. John gives him a flash of the lights, and Harris goes up the inside then of Tobias Hoffer. Good move from Michael Harris. He's looked racy today. Skunky off the track once more. Doesn't invite Goudet through though at the moment, so they hold positions and stay as they are.
Yeah, you've got Silth attacking the back of Mike Matthews. Mike Matthews, the second best defender on the league these days, after me that is. But Silth is trying here and there and everywhere to try and find a way round him, but Mike has got him absolutely covered, so the champion can't find a way round the gold driver.
No, he can't. McGowan's just got ahead of Cairns. He's now looking up the inside of that of Cardno in towards the hairpin. McGowan up the inside. Cardno gives him plenty of room. Good move from McGowan. That obviously out of sorts, out of position, you're going to say at this moment in time. Goudet all over the back of Skunky once again, looking to try and get a move done somewhere, but doesn't at the moment. He's got to come. He's going to be careful because Harris is going to put him under pressure shortly. Hibbs has lost out actually to Harris, and Hoffer looking in the background. So Goudet got to be careful. Right defending now from Skunky going into turn 1. Skunky right around the outside, right side of poor run. Goudet might get him as well. Right now on the outside for turn 2. We'll have that inside line for turn 3. Goudet just chops the nose off a little bit there. That's a duffing chop if I've ever seen one. And Wright loses out. Now Harris gets through as well.
Up front, it's Dan has now reeled in, quickest man on the track at the moment, and has reeled in the top 2. DeBont is now looking racy on the back of O'Reilly, and Dan has joined the party. They've dropped Ben Rook a little bit, so a 3-way fight for the front at the moment.
Yeah, we're just watching the back at the minute. That's Cardno in all sorts of strife with Skunky and Cairns. Cardno still has that inside line, just breaks a little earlier than Skunky. Cairns defending the inside as well. It's all going on back here again like it was in race 1. And now Goudet on the back of Cardno, but Goudet's got Harris. Harris has looked really racy today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's on a mission this evening, that's for sure. Top 3 still covered by half a second, and go back down to Overtaker, who's not a million miles away from Carlos, who is not a million miles from Ben Rook, who is, as I said, just dropped back just a little bit now, and Williams is in the pits.
Why is Williams in the pits? That is a very early one, possibly just getting it out of the way. We're on board with Harris, who nearly ends up in the back of Goudet. Goudet all over the back of Cardno. And that was nearly curtains for both Goudet and Harris there. Williams and Ledger and Wright all in the pit, getting it out the way early, possibly getting out that traffic early doors.
I think so.
Goudet's past Cardno into turn 1. Harris looking up the inside at turn 2. Gets that move done as well. So Cardno losing out a little bit there. And Harris, who's struggled in the Audi, let's say, this season, but here he looks really racy. Ramsdell now joins the back of the queue.
Yeah, absolutely. He is looking quick and racy. I do think these guys were going to get themselves out of traffic and trying an alternate strategy. Be interesting if they take tyres, and if they don't, if they can make them last to the end of the race, Matt.
I don't know what Williams has done, but Williams has lost out to Ledger, but they've not taken tyres.
Well, if they're not taking tyres, they've got an awfully long way to go with track temperature 37 degrees and harsh on the tyres.
The only reason I say that, Kelly, is I'm looking at the pit stop times here for Misano. 63 seconds, you lose 67% of your lap. I don't feel like Williams there has lost 67% of his lap.
No, maybe not. So if he's taking these tyres to the end, he's locked himself into a brave strategy.
Yeah,
early doors,
yes, it's going to be an interesting one to see. Let's see what we could call it at the moment. This is an interesting one to see around here. I'm going to ignore Benny Varga's comment in the chat there, Benny. There's no need to bring up race 1. Yes, I had a drive-through and a stop-go and a drive-through all in one race, but we don't.
Collecting them?
We don't. I was just it was buy one get one free.
Make sure they work.
I was doing it for for everybody else to make sure they didn't get one. I was taking it for them.
Of course, yeah, it's good of you, man.
Cheers. Overtaker on the back of Carlos further forward. Dan's just lost a couple of attempts to DeBont. That's opened up to half a second. It was 0.3. But at the minute, the front 3 just managing this. And there's these 3 of Rook, Carlos and Overtaker. And then there's the squabble of Matthews, Sylph, Hooper, Clace and Rob Smith in behind. It's a great little fight already out here.
Yeah, and again, Mike doing a cracking job of defending from the current champion, and putting that McLaren everywhere he needs to. Knows exactly the right places where to put it and how to defend and how to keep that Ferrari of Sylph way behind. Although Mike did go a little bit wide onto the back straight, but Sylph is nothing like close enough to be able to do anything about that. I tell you who's having a go is Overtaker having a look at the back of Carlos there. They all go wide out of that corner. That pings up a track limit, that one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Normally. Sorry, Kelly, while you were saying that, we saw Harris get up the inside of Goudet. and then lost out at the second hairpin because Goudet then had the inside line for that one. So it's just interesting. This circuit's one of them, Kelly, where it's a lot of right to left. What is the inside for one corner may not work on that second one, because if the driver gets the run on the outside, that's put him in prime position for that next corner. So Harry's still fighting with the back of John, but he's got to do something about this. Millington all over the back of Hibbs. He's got Ramsell now with him, and we've got Williams all over the back of Ledger here as well. Hoopert's on the back of Sylph with Mike now, and like you say, Overtaker and Carlos and Ben Rook all having a great run. They are losing out though to Dan, who's on the back of De Bont at the minute.
Yes, indeed. The front three have checked out a little bit from Ben. Ben doing a cracking job of defending from Carlos and from Overtaker. Although Overtaker has lost a little bit of ground halfway around this lap. But out front, Dan, is very close to De Bont. O'Reilly just managing out front, doing what he needs to do in that Honda.
Sorry, Kelly was just watching. Just jumped back. So I saw Sylph was on the back of Mike Matthews. Him and Hoopert have cleared Mike, and they're having a bit of a squabble themselves. So Sylph and Hoopert have both got past Mike Matthews somewhere, and that puts Mike on the back foot over that of Clace. But now the Ferrari can attack the BMW. Still, Mike Matthews is lurking in the wings. Rob Smith behind at the end of this train is going to have a look at Clace in towards the couple of right-handers. No, they don't. Mike Matthews has a look because Sylph has a slide. Drama everywhere you look. This is great bit of racing at Misano. A great advert for this circuit.
Absolutely. Sylph, I think, was just a little bit late on the brakes, which put him out of position a little bit, which brought Mike back in. Mike must have made a little mistake because he didn't lose a lot of ground, but he lost a couple of places.
Indeed, he did. This is great, though. We've got the front two. Look at this. De Bont defending heavy from Dan now. That's a second and a half he's got to O'Reilly. So O'Reilly starting to check out.
Sylph has hit. Sorry, mate. Sylph has hit the back of Hooper and sent Hooper round. That was unfortunate. But Sylph just tapped into the back of Hooper there. Yeah,
and that's dropped him down. Where's that? That's Goudet and Harris. Right in the middle of the Goudet-Harris fight. Harris has a look up the inside of Hooper and now squeezes through. So Hooper loses out to Harris. Harris obviously in hot pursuit of Goudet. Has been for a couple of laps now. Just noting that Ramsell's got past Millington down the order. Them two are still on the back of Hibbs in this one as well. So they're going to be hunting after Hibbs to try and make a move here. But no matter where you look, there is a fight happening. None more so than this fight. Now Rob Smith has all of a sudden got ahead of Mike Matthews.
Yeah, he got him down the straight. I don't know, again, if Mike had a little bit of a problem out of the tight 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, group of corners. But Rob Smith passed him on the straight before they got to the hairpin. So I don't know if Mike's starting to struggle or just a couple of mistakes coming in. But now Smith is looking very, very racy on the back of Stilth.
And we got McGowan, who's been lapping as quick as the lead three, on the back of this train as well. So this is an interesting little train. You jump back to Keynes, who's got a gap back to Goudet, who's got he's got Harris for company. Hoopert's there to play ball as well as Cardno, and we've still got this Hibbs, Ramsell and Millington fight down the bottom end of the pack. Overtaker in, early stop for Overtaker, getting this one out of the way clearly.
Yeah, certainly is. Clace is all over the back of Mike Matthews now like a cheap suit. McLaren versus McLaren on that one. And Smith looking racy now on the back of the champion Sylph. Again, this is just letting Ben Rook has been caught by Carlos.
Clace Kelly's got the undercut on Mike Matthews through 4, 5 and 6. Mike will have that inside line onto that straight, but did he get the run out of it? McGowan crawling all over the back of him. Clace now shuts the door on Mike, all within limits. There was a bit of a cards gap between them. Mike now has to not hit the back of Clace. McGowan sails right around the outside. Now Clace just forces McGowan to have a little wiggle. Mike loses 2 more in the same position.
Absolutely. McLaren's all over the shop here. McGowan went round the outside there of Mike. Mike just starting to struggle, especially in that 4, 5, 6 section. Seems to be having some troubles there. You don't know where to look next, do you?
Action everywhere you look here at Misano. Ramsell on the back of Hibbs. They're gaining on Hoffer as well. So gaining on another car. Ramsell's just teleported. I believe he's back. Yes, he is. So Ramsell okay for the time being. Just got to watch that one.
Skunky now on the back of Mike, very close on the back of Mike Matthews, and after cracking qualifying in the first couple of good first 10 minutes for Mike Matthews. It all seems to be going quite badly all of a sudden. I don't know what's gone wrong.
Well, just looking at lap times here, buddy, that Mike Matthews is actually the 18th fastest on the circuit at the moment. So he is struggling. When you look at then the likes of Skunky. Skunky set the 5th fastest lap time out there at the moment. Different strategies are taking shape though as well. Let's take that one into consideration. We're not going to name names, but different strategies are taking shape here. And let's keep our eyes. Goudet has now been passed by Harris. So Harris up to 13th, John down to 14th. John will have to try and either attack Harris or start to keep our eyes out on Hoopert in the background.
Yes, indeed. Front three are reasonably comfortable at the moment. They seem to have got into a rhythm. O'Reilly's still out in front with a second and a bit over de Bont down in a 3rd place. There's a gap then back to Carlos and Ben Rook. We didn't see where Carlos got past Ben, but he did. And then a big gap again back to Silth. 15 minutes into this race, still a long way to go. Smith looking very, very racy. And we seem to have settled down a little bit for a moment. Who's close? Rob Ransell.
Yellow flag. Hoopert's pulled to one side. That's Hoopert who's pulled to the inside and has left the lobby.
Yeah, it's a problem. So he had a couple of problems recently. Did he have wheel problems?
So,
or am I imagining that?
Yeah, no, I think he had a problem or two recently. Not sure why. But that'll be a retirement in this race for Hoopert. So we're down to 25. Lead pit runner is overtaker. So let's see what will happen in this one then, as Hibbs has got Ramsell on the back of him, but he's gaining on that.
Very much so.
Of
Hibbs in the pits.
Of Hoffer. Hibbs is in the pits, getting out the traffic early now. Dan Davis once again on the back of de Bont, but can't do a lot with it. He's been there. He's quicker than de Bont at the minute, but hasn't done a lot to attack him.
I mean, it's one thing being quicker, but you need an overlap of time or a mistake to be able to do that overtake him nice and cleanly. Dan's in a strong position. He'll be very keen not to throw this away for a silly move. It's not really Dan's style, to be fair, so more patient than he is aggressive. So yeah, he's just waiting for his moment, I think.
I think he's got to try and force the moment, though, Kelly. I don't think the moment's going to come to him, because de Bont looks very stable out there. Looks very easy. You know, Dan's not putting him under. He's by pressure from Dan, by the way. He's got to force de Bont to start to defend, and he's not doing it at the moment. He's able to drive his line, and that's what's not giving Dan a chance to get an overlap. Going back down towards car 21, that is Hoffer, because on the track map there's a couple together. Obviously Hibbs have been in the pits. Ramsell now on the back of Hoffer. So let's see what happens in this race. Closest fight on circuit, though, is the Dan and de Bont fight at this moment in time. We'll obviously keep our eyes on the Ramsell and Hoffer fight. Plenty more action happening. McGowan within 4/10 of Clace. That could be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. In fact, at the final corner, McGowan's pretty much pushing that of Clace across line. What's happened to Skunky? Skunky's ended up behind John Goudet.
Oh, yeah, he must have had a bit of a moment somewhere, because he was right in the thick of it, wasn't he?
Right behind Mike, wasn't he? Oh, he's got damage to the front of that car.
Right, well, he's had a problem then somewhere, hasn't he? That's for sure.
So let's just take a look at the back of Mike's. Let's see if it looks a lot of damage. That to me would say that he's hit a wall. Just trying to look at Mike's diffuser. Looks okay. So yeah, it looks pretty okay on Mike's diffuser. So I don't think that anything's been done between the two of them. So maybe just had a moment on his own somewhere.
Absolutely. The front three, and as Matt said, Dan trying to force a mistake on de Bont having none of it. As a famous commentator once said, you're either giving pressure or you're taking pressure, and Dan's trying to put the pressure on de Bont. And different race drivers have different skills, don't they? Some can just look forward, and that's what you want to be doing when you're being attacked, being tried to be pressurised by the car behind. You need to be looking forward, not looking in your mirrors.
Oh, here we go. Sorry, Kelly McGowan side by side with Clace on the outside. Tucks back in though through this quick section on the back straight. Gowney doesn't fancy that one. Rob Smith sticking to the back of Silf as well. An absolute peach. And Keynes, he's just been overtaken by Michael Harris. So Keynes is through. Looked a little lag there from Goudet for just a second, and he has now got side by side with Keynes, and he's going to try and squeeze Keynes on that inside line. Keynes keeps it there, still has the inside. John comes across a little bit on Keynes, and they just tapped momentarily. Little naughty that from John.
Yes, indeed. I was still on board with Dan. Ben Rook's still close up behind Carlos, but again, not being able to do anything really about it. And yeah, my PlayStation has froze. The cameras have froze. Let me just, yeah, I know what I've done. I've pressed drive, haven't I, Matt? That's the problem.
More than likely. More than likely.
Yeah, I have. No, yeah, definitely.
So
back with it now. So
there we go. There we go. So while Kelly has fixed his technical issues, McGowan
yeah.
still on the back of Clace at the moment. Dan's just dropped off the back of DeBont. Just a tenth or two. Not a lot, just a tenth or two. But O'Reilly's not creeping away here, is he? Dan's gained that 2 tenths back. O'Reilly's not massively dropping these two. You feel that if Dan could possibly pass DeBont, Dan could possibly have that little bit of clear air for a moment, get on the back of O'Reilly. The problem, like Kelly's just said, you're either taking pressure or giving pressure. DeBont's not really receiving it. Dan's not really giving it at the moment.
No, this is it. And to be fair, Matt, any one of the top three, all of the top three are comfortable now. Any of those three can win this race quite comfortably. So just for a moment, I'm sure they're happy to go along where they are. O'Reilly's not getting away at a rate of knots. DeBont and Dan are just comfortable going around. For a moment, it's all kind of status quo at the front, isn't it? You know, it's not critical at the moment.
It's a tenth a sector I've been watching is what O'Reilly is gaining over DeBont and Dan. So 3/10 a lap, which isn't huge. Tobias Hoffer has got Ramsell and Millington for company. It's actually closed down a tenth through sector 1. So just shows that Dan and DeBont are maybe just starting to creep in. But we're in a territory now where we're getting towards half race distance. That's 35 minutes. We're going to start to see, pit stops possibly happening within the next 20 minutes or so. And at the minute, Hoffer really holding up Ramsell and Millington in this one. They just cannot seem to find a way through. Rob has a big moment coming out the corner. And back to DeBont and Dan.
Yeah, seems to be a bit of Audi hating going on in the chat at the moment, and everyone's saying how incredibly rubbish it is and how incredibly well Harris is doing with it. I haven't had a go in the Audi, but
Dan's having a look. He's gone up the inside of DeBont at the hairpin. Great move, and I think that came from DeBont just going a little deep, finally feeling that pressure from Dan Davis, who has been there. He's not applied it fully, but he's been there. DeBont cracks and Dan gets through.
That's what Dan's been waiting for, and he pounced, got the job done. Now we'll see what pace Dan has got. Been the fastest man on single lap pace all evening. Was fastest in practice, wasn't in qualifying, but was fast in the practice, and both fastest laps, I believe, fastest lap in the sprint, and he currently holds the fastest lap in this race. So let's see if he can translate that pace and start putting some pressure on O'Reilly. O'Reilly will know that the positions have changed, and will he start to worry?
Well, the gap went up to 2.2, so clearly DeBont just held Dan in that last sector of this race. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what Dan can now start to do as we get is he's got clear set time. And that 2 seconds, Kelly, as well, just that gap open up a little more, just gives Dan that little bit more of clear air. Just gives him a little bit more time for his tyres to just calm down. You've got to think that every lap you're behind another car in that dirty air, your car sliding around, that just hurts your tyres that little bit more. Just going to drop that down to Rob Ramsell, who's the closest now on track with Tobias Hoffer.
If you believe, if you don't participate in ACC or you just watch the channel because you enjoy brilliant racing, and why wouldn't you? Yes, dirty air is actually a thing. This, the detail of this game is really quite something, and the dirty air does have an effect. And for the first time in this race, Dan is in clean air and not in the wash of the back of that Ferrari. So he got a chance to get his head down a little bit and get onto the back of O'Reilly.
Ramsell's got a run here. Tucks back in behind Hoffer, now tries to go to that inside line all over the curb. Does he have that nose just alongside? Hoffer's gone a little wide. That'll invite him into the hairpin, and Rob Ramsell, good move on Tobias Hoffer, moves up into P15. Little wiggle on exit from Rob. That brings Hoffer back into play momentarily. Now Hoffer gets a run right around the outside, swoops back up, but he's not got the job done yet. They just touch doors. Hoffer gets pushed wide. Rob has a slide, and here comes Millington to try and take that place from Tobias Hoffer. They're going to possibly be 3 wide coming into turn 1. Rob tries to defend the inside line, does so. Millington, is he going to try and swoop around the outside? Does so. So Hoffer loses 2 places, and it always a bit argy-bargy at the end of that lap.
Yeah, there was a little bit of rubbing there, but everyone's still on track, and Hoffer looking a bit fired up now. He might well be.
Well, let's see what Hoffer can do, because he might well be fired up now. Carlos has got a queue slightly forming behind him. He's got a gap to Ben, but Ben's got Sylph and Rob Smith sticking with Sylph here. Fair play to Rob Smith, the Mustang driver, doing very, very well at this moment in time. We're currently 44 minutes left of this race. Not seeing a drive-through penalty ping up yet. And it is O'Reilly from Dan from De Bont, your top 3. McGowan on the back of Clay still here. Like Kelly said a moment ago, it has just settled down. It has just calmed down a little bit. McGowan's looking to the outside line now of Clace into the penultimate corner. Can't get it done through there. And will he have a look into the final corner? He will. Clace defends that inside line. Round the outside, McGowan's going to swoop. Does he get the move done? Wiggle on the curb. Clace has to avoid. McGowan through.
Yes, indeed. And job done there for sure. Sylph has now caught up with the back of Ben Rook and Carlos. He was a couple of seconds behind. Yeah. He's dragged that down now, and he's in contention with these boys again. Is Carlos starting to struggle because back end of that Rari just floating all over the place to 4, 5 and 6. Is Ben going to get a run on him into the hairpin? He moves to the outside. Don't know if he's going to have enough. Carlos defends the inside. When you're out there on the outside, it's hard work. Sylph looks up the inside now. Is he going to punish Ben for trying to look round the outside? He does. Sylph gets
Not
it done.
yet, Kelly.
Ben hangs in there. Yeah, no, he's done now.
He has now, yeah. I thought Ben may have just tried to keep that inside line coming into this hairpin, but it wasn't to be. Sylph punches his ticket through and moves up now onto the back of Carlos. We've just seen Skunky into the pit lane. One thing I will say is Dan has cleared De Bont in clear air. 1.7 seconds is the gap, but Dan hasn't made any inroads on that Honda yet. And Smith right around the outside of Ben Rook. Where did he come from indeed? Because he passes Ben Rook with ease.
Yeah, what was that all about? I was sat on board with Ben there, and all of a sudden Smith come round the outside. Did Ben nod off there for a minute or what? And he's falling back now from these. This all started with him having a look around the outside of Carlos. He probably, in hindsight, was better off not bothering, because in the space of half a lap, he's lost 2 spaces.
He has lost 2 spaces, and he's on the back foot. Rob Smith looking very racy at the minute. Sylph going up the inside of Carlos into turn 1. Job done there from Sylph. These two came together in race 1, if you remember rightly. They've not come together today in race 2, and Sylph gets through at the moment. O'Reilly just gaps down a little bit more on the last lap, gap up to 2.4 now, but we're in a stage of the race where pit stops may start to be happening from now to the end. Hoffer into the pit lane then, so we'll see what Hoffer can do, but an interesting one already. And this is really the closest fight, isn't it? If I know that, down to Patrick Ledger, only 3 tenths off the back of Williams. These two have already pitted as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Williams playing the pitted early, playing the long game, definitely kind of committed into his tyre strategy, and with a very early pit stop. We'll see how that pans out as we start to get the rounds of pit stops. But he's got close company from the AS Racing driver of Patrick Ledger, and he's a handy little peddler as well. So he's Williams needs to be a little bit worried about that. The Audi discussion keeps going in the chat, and Bungle is saying about Bungle, of course, uses Audi in Pro-Am, and some love and some hate for the Audi. I wonder what Rod, Jane and Freddie would drive if they had a choice.
I don't know who you're on about. I know Zippy and Bungle, but I don't know who the others are.
Okay, you need to go back and watch some Rainbow.
Okay.
Now there was a weird situation. Rod, Jane and Freddie. Well, go back and read the body language of that one, people, and tell me that there isn't something bizarre going on with Rod, Jane and Freddie. Target audience on those ones. If you remember Rod, Jane and Freddie and what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat.
Just looking at the last couple of laps, Kelly, De Bont was a little quicker than Dan last time round. Dan was actually some half a second slower than O'Reilly. Jamal's gone 3rd fastest in terms of fastest laps in this race so far, but certain drivers...
O'Reilly pulling away.
He is pulling away. He was off second quicker than Dan on the last lap. And yeah, certain drivers coming to the end of their stint. So just interesting to see. And we are going to be due a handful of pit stops, and then you'll know who's on what kind of strategy, and we'll see who's doing what tyre-wise. But Jamal will be kicking himself with that pace for not readying up at the start.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately, Jamal seems to keep having these... Go on.
Michael Harris was 3/10 off the back of Mike. I've just flicked to it. He's now in front of Mike. So Harris on a charge. Mike, he seemed to have settled down, didn't he? He was losing a lot of places very quickly. He seems to have settled down since, but has now lost out to Michael Harris.
Yes, we don't know what's going on there. And I know Mike did mention in the chat that he'd made a couple of tweaks to the car before qualifying. Certainly made some changes. Sorry?
Are you chewing a sweet?
No, sorry, I was just finishing off a can of blood orange Thatcher's cider, which was lovely.
Not a sponsor, but there we go.
Oh, well, yeah, well, give Rattler a day off, innit? You know?
Rob Smith into the pit lane for the Ford Mustang driver. So let's see when he comes out. I think he's just stopped in his box. So let's see now. So if he's been in, say, 2 seconds, let's see when he comes out the pit lane. This could be interesting, Kelly. I think the next driver that I can see on a low fuel run that comes into the pits, maybe it's worth you jumping on them and just telling me when they stop in their box.
Are we on?
Nobody at the minute. I'll give you a shout next one I see.
Right. I thought you wanted me to do that. Okay.
No, next driver I see, and then we'll go from there. But I think Rob Smith is changing tyres because he's been in at least 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's on a tyre change, I believe. So we're nearly coming up to half distance of this race. His car's just been dropped and Rob is away. I would have money that there's a set of tyres been put on that
100%. He was in the pits with 39 minutes 21 on the clock, stationary. He's coming. He moved when you said it was 38 minutes 40 something. So that is 100% a tyre change for me from Rob Smith. So that shows his intention there, and it's going to be an interesting one. As Darren Yo in the chat, Daz Automatic says, here, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey was another character from Rainbow.
Thank
Matt.
you.
You, the youngster, just can't keep up.
There we go. First drive-through, Clace, track limits. So that's the first one
knew there'd be one
of the afternoon. Speaking of drive-throughs, I said I wouldn't mention it. That's a lie. I told him I was going to mention it. Rob Smith, Clace is coming in. Now keep your eyes on Clace for me, Kelly. Tell me when he stops. Let's have a count. So when you tell me when he stops, Rob Smith, in the fun event here, Ford versus Ferrari, 5 drive-throughs in a 60-minute race. He's doing all right so far. He's not had one.
Yeah.
You tell me when Clace has stopped.
Yeah. When he gets there, I'll tell you. And he's coming up to his pit. No, he's straight through. He's doing his drive-through.
Oh, there we go. He's doing his drive-through.
He's done his drive-through, straight through.
So we'll keep our eyes on who is next to pit. But Ledger really hassling the back of Williams. This is the closest that anybody has been. The closest the action that there is on track at the moment. It's turning into a lovely little fight, this one. You can play my plucking instrument, says Andy in the chat. Didn't Bungle join in the parties in his outfit? Well, I have no idea what he's going on.
I know. With more rainbow stuff. Those guys you do remember it. Am I right about Rod, Jane and Freddie? There was a weird dynamic, was there not? I know it was the 70s and all the rest of it, 70s and 80s, but there was a weird dynamic going on there. And no one's mentioned George yet. No one's mentioned George, a pink hippo. I mean, what's weird about that? And quite feminine at that.
I wasn't born till the 90s, so it shows how little I know. There we go.
Well, this is it. At least you were born in the right millennium.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. Clace comes out then. Where is he came out? He's on the back of Overtaker. Overtaker's the lead pit runner. Let's not forget Williams and Ledger having a cracking little scrap. Mercedes doesn't look very suited to this Misano circuit, though, Kelly, does it? Because Williams just hasn't looked at his best today.
It's a big old car, isn't it? It's a big old car, and it can't be good everywhere. I mean, I think Williams is doing a cracking job with that Merc. I think it's all a bit of a tank, and hard work. But, the man who never changes cars, saying this, of course. But I think he's doing a cracking job with that Mercedes, but it can't suit every track, can it?
No, it can't.
Sorry.
No, it can't. You're quite right there, Kelly. So gap out front. Dan's got the gap to DeBont 3.2. O'Reilly's to Dan is 2.8. Sylph roughly around that 6.8 to 7 second mark. He's dropped Carlos. Ben's obviously been released. Ben's not really troubling the back of Carlos, kind of staying to that 9/10 of a second marker. This is the closest fight on circuit, and we await anybody to come into the pit lane at the minute. Who's a 31? That is Hibbs. He's got Rob Smith on the back of him. Now, Hibbs has pitted. Rob Smith, we believe, has changed tyres. I say we believe. I think we're pretty confident on that one. That he's changed tyres. As Rip My Ribs is in the chat. There we go. I don't have other house to bet, but hashtag 16 is going to win. You need to stop putting houses up for the bets. Let me tell you, is Rob Smith.
We already owe us a house, don't you?
Yeah, house.
He knows his house, doesn't he?
In Serbia, was it Serbia? Czechia or something like that? Rob Smith's just passed Hibbs, by the way.
Well done. Well done, indeed. Hibbs, your Pro-Am champion, doing a cracking job in Pro, holding his own, very much so. I'm sure he owes us a house. You're going to owe us another house in a minute, is he? I hope not. I'm with you.
I think I'm with you. I think it was in Czechia, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Apparently it was a nice one.
Yeah, well, that's what, right, here we go. Millington's in the pit lane, as is that car 36, as is Clouden. So when they stop in their box, Kelly, tell me, one of them.
I'm on board with Clouden, so Millington's pulled over to his box. He's stopped now. I'm staying on board with Clouden, who's pulling over to the left-hand side and stops. Oh, come on, Clouden, where you going now? That was a little bit hesitant.
34.13 for Millington, 34.6 for Clouden. So that's 10 seconds for Millington. That's 10 seconds for Clouden. This is tyre change, isn't it? Yeah.
Got to be, innit?
Clace is also in the pits. Well, that's now coming up to 20 seconds Millington, and I can't see his dot moving. That's now 20 seconds Clouden, and I can't see his dot moving. So that is tyre change for them two. So we believe 3 tyre changes. Rob Smith and these two. Millington's now away, 30-second mark. Clouden's now away, 30-second mark.
Yeah.
So there we go. Their change of tyres from them two. Ben Ruck gaining on Carlos.
Yes, indeed. Clouden right on the back of the Ferrari as they roll out of the pits extremely slowly.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think Millington was is Millington just in front? I believe it's Millington.
Yes,
either way, they've just gone a lap down to the leaders. They've got to be careful. Blue flags here as they come out the pit lane, and Millington did right into the path of Ben Ruck, and that's going to allow Jamal Clouden to have a look up the inside of Millington there, and the lap traffic got in the way of the leaders got in the way, and don't forget, it's the driver's responsibility in the race. It's driver's responsibility that they don't interfere with people coming out the pit lane. It's easy to run understeer wide at turn 3 and end up across that line. Millington now lost out to another one as a result of that one. So unlucky for him. Ian McGowan now in the pits, and Goudet's now on the back of Mike Matthews. So Mike just struggling in this race.
Absolutely, and Millington there just got close to Ben Ruck. He chinked out of the way. Clouden was there and just absolutely jumped straight on it. Opportunist move, worked out an absolute treat indeed. And yes, still the comments coming in about Rainbow, and those who remember it, what was all that about? I'll throw another one in there. Magic Roundabout. Now, whoever wrote that, tell me they weren't on drugs. Tell me they weren't on drugs with that one. That is absolutely way out there.
They did a film about that.
Magic Roundabout, they did a film about that when my sister was young, because she really enjoyed it, and I can't remember the guy's name. Famous actor, British actor, played I can't remember who he is now. I'm gonna have to Google it, but he played the bunny, and I thought exactly what you were saying. I thought, you tell me that this rabbit isn't meant to be off his face. Yeah, they were all on drugs, surely all did taking magic mushrooms. They were, and just for the PC of it all, say no to drugs, children. Don't do it.
Bill Nye did the voice.
Did he?
Yeah,
there you go. Ended up in Love Actually and many other
brilliant
films.
Film. Underrated Christmas film, that one. Speaking of Christmas, we're not far away. It's 5 months till Christmas Eve.
It's far away. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas this year because I'll be in New Zealand, so that'll be lovely.
Oh, lovely.
Two summers in 1 year. Gotta love it. Just going back to, what did you say? Love Actually, good film. Absolutely not, Matt. You're completely wrong.
It's an underrated Christmas film.
No. You're absolutely wrong on every level. It's a complete mismatch of rubbish stories that don't make any sense whatsoever, and a complete chick flick. Behave yourself.
It's underrated. You wouldn't know. You don't like Christmas. Mike's gone very, very wide. John's now got a run. Mike still has that inside line, and he's going to stay ahead of John Goudet, it looks like, into the corner. John's going to try and outbrake Mike Matthews. It's not going to work around the outside there. He'll try and get the up and under, but Mike, he's just too good at defending. He's going to port that one on the apex and make you drive around him. And if you don't drive around him, you've got to drive through him. But at the minute, that's caused John Goudet to get a heck of a run down this back straight. Is he going to look to that inside line? Matthews gives him plenty of space. Goudet's going to get alongside. Goudet's going to get ahead of Mike Matthews then. So John gets through on Mike Matthews, and Mike now just drops down yet another position in this race.
Do you think he's made a fundamental setup change?
Jamal Clouden, drive-through penalty, track limits. There we go.
Yeah,
that's the second one of the day.
That's number 2. We should play drive-through bingo, you know, most weeks, and we should have a bit of a bet on who's going to be first, because it seems to happen week in, week out, especially in tracks like this.
Instead of doing a winner poll, we do, or a driver of the day poll.
Let's play. Yeah, we could play drive-through bingo. I think Clouden now was coming on the back of. Actually, he's down from there, isn't he? Ben Rook is right in front of him. But he's a lap down from that as well. So, Clouden with much more pace than his result is showing at the moment.
Ledger still half a second off the back of Williams, by the way, so he's really stuck to him. Rook, 4 attempts to Carlos. Dan has kept that gap to O'Reilly at 2.8. It hasn't moved from 2.8, so it just shows how much their lap times are ebbing and flowing. I'll tell you what we do need. I'll tell you what the chat need. The chat need to make. We need to make, me and you, a bingo card for the season on commentary that the chat can play, and the first one to yell out bingo wins, and it's just throughout the whole season. And because I think there's things we do on a regular basis in a season that the chat could probably play bingo with, and you win no prizes. Let me point this out there: you win nothing. It's pride, I suppose.
Our respect.
Our respect and the pride of winning bingo.
We could have a who's going to mention certain things first. You know, cheese on toast and pineapple on pizza, Honda's Ginsters, all the rest of the
I'd still like to point
favourites.
out, by the way, I haven't mentioned it once this season. We are 7 weeks in.
Mate, I only ever retaliate to your silliness, so obviously I haven't either as well. So we're talking films now. Have you ever watched that, Andy? If you have watched it, it's
De Bont's been disqualified, disconnected. Oh. Just seeing in the chat, De Bont has been disconnected. Hopefully De Bont can get back in. It says DC'd. I've not seen disqualified, so it has to be disconnected for De Bont. He can get back in to finish this race with 27 minutes left. That is a shame. That puts Silf up a place. Clouden has only just finished his drive-through penalty.
And he hit the wall twice in that pit. I was on board with him, and he managed to hit the barrier twice in that drive-through. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he jumped out of the car and went and had a drink or something, but he managed to hit the wall twice in that. But he's cleared.
Andrew Taylor saying Hondas and pasties. They would be the first two things.
Who asked him to pipe up? Who asked him to pipe up? Yeah. He's the first one to stir it up, isn't he? I'm
not going to say it on stream, but you should find out what he's hosting in his back garden every year. Jeez, I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after.
It's got nothing to do with that Debbie Does Dallas comment.
No, I don't even know what Debbie Does Dallas is.
Do you not know? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, seen it. It's a classic. Yeah. Well, don't, for God's sake, children, don't Google it. Don't Google it. Apparently, Debbie only ever got paid a one-off fee for that, Andy, and she disappeared into obscurity afterwards. And apparently, she was only paid a couple £100 for that film. She didn't get an Oscar for it. Anyway, moving swiftly along.
Couldn't tell you what happened in it, to be fair. Couldn't tell you what happened to it.
No, I'm sure you'll rush off and Google it afterwards. But as I said, don't do it out there, kids. You know. Just don't.
I've had some strange conversations today. We're on about that. We're on about Bungle and Rainbow, and we're on about Magic Roundabout.
I think it's the first.
Before the night started, Steve Millington may not have raced because someone lost a fingertip or something, and that grossed me out. And
that's clumsy, isn't it?
Monkey Boy saying less of that. Yeah, you know I'm only joking, Andrew. I'm just jealous. More than anything.
What is he hosting in his back garden then? Do I really want to know?
Off-air. It's an off-air conversation. This isn't for the air. This is an off-air conversation.
Okay, right.
Right, Michael Harris into the pit lane. Was that a tyre change for him? We'll see, 'cause he's made good progress through the field. Ledger 2 tenths off the back of Williams. Still really impressive for Ledger at the moment. Sticking to the back of Williams. He's having a good showing. Dan's just dropped over that 3-second mark behind O'Reilly now. And, it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to search it. Rob, don't worry, I'm not going to be searching that one. Harris still coming out the pits. I bet I don't. Harris out the pits, right in front of O'Reilly. So where did Harris come actually out behind? That's behind Hibbs. So I think Harris has taken tyres there. This is going to be an interesting one to see what has happened. Rob also, I believe, took tyres because he was on the back of Hibbs. He's now 18 seconds behind. So let's see what happens here. And it's going to be interesting. But Ledger, 12th place, sticking to Williams like hot glue. I was looking for something better than glue.
Glue's hot, and it's sticky. So
I was looking for something better than glue, but it just kind of didn't go there.
Okay.
Got a VIP ticket. Dean's got a VIP ticket, Monkey Boy, not me. Oh dear.
I'm interested to know. I'll have to know off air now. It's not for broadcastable. Wow, it sounds rock and roll.
Very rock and roll. It is very rock and roll. Yeah.
Is it an Ozzy Osbourne appreciation party?
No.
With all the trimmings.
Poor Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in me, rest in peace. Lost Hulk Hogan today. Did you see that one? Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. That's 2 more SimPlay regulars that we've lost. RIP to them both. What we're going to do without Ozzy in our lives, Ozzy's been around forever. He's one of those characters you just think would never pass.
Yes.
And God knows how he managed to make it as far as he did, to be fair.
He only did a live gig a few weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a farewell gig only a couple of weeks ago. So, sad news, the loss of Ozzy Osbourne with the Prince of Darkness, which they say is an unfair statement.
Rob Ramsell. There we go. 5 drive-through penalties in the off-season event. 1 tonight for Rob Ramsell. Now, Williams is holding up Ledger, an absolute peach, because Matt Wright's within a second. So, this is interesting. So that's now 3 drive-through penalties to add. That'll ruin Rob Ramsell's night. Fury's granddad, it's similar to a marathon. Oh, it's a marathon, all right, Tony. It's a marathon. Goudet and Mike Matthews in the pits.
God, I've got to know. That'll be the first question when we get to the end of the racing. When we have a debrief like we do, it will be, what's that about? What was that about? What's going on in Monkey Boy's back garden, so to speak?
Oh, brilliant. Right, let's see what happens here in this one. So we've lost the Bont. Just looking up, we got the Bont back. Now we don't have the Bont back. He didn't get to 3/4 distance, so that will be nil point for the Bont, like the United Kingdom on Eurovision night. Hey, good that.
It's what?
Raised over 100 million for Birmingham's Children's Hospital at the final gig. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, brilliant! Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, absolutely,
fantastic.
And a patriotic Brummie, wasn't he? And he loved where he was from. So absolutely. So that was great to hear.
We've got a good little scrap here. Sorry, Kelly. Carlos and Ben Ruck, 2 tenths per second. Dan's in. Dan's pulled the undercut. They've got P20. That is Skunky on the back of them now. Skunky may have changed tyres and may be running quicker than these two at the moment. The problem is he's a lap down. They've gone past Dan Davis. Dan's now in the pits. Who came out ahead between Mike and John? That would be Mike. So I assume John took tyres or something because he's a little further back. Or John just fuelled heavier. Maybe didn't take tyres but fuelled heavier than that. Mike's off at the hairpin all on his own, so ignore everything I've said because John's back in front.
Dan was rolling out the pits by the time I got over to him, so I don't know if he's not taken tyres.
He's not. No, I don't think so. He's not taken tyres there.
If anybody can do it, he can.
He's carried on. Well, he is the son of the tyre whisperer.
Exactly. It's in his genes, isn't it? He can do it.
Yeah. You was telling him all the tricks of the trade at 4 in the morning at the hospital in A&E and said, right, what you got to do is take this line, do this, look after your tyres here and there, and boom, you'll be all right. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Great to have Dan on the grid, by the way. For those who don't know, I think people have seen on the Discord, Dan has been ill over this week. It's been in the Discord. Go back to that one in a moment, because Ben's having a look at Carlos, tucks back in behind. Now thinks of a move, doesn't. No, not close enough. Dan's been in hospital. Dan had surgery a few years ago, where KLF and the legend, the GOAT that is Clive Smithy, won at Zolder in the rain. Dan had an operation on his stomach then. Had a bit of a flare-up over the weekend. He's okay. He's fine. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be racing tonight.
Disqualified for track limits.
Yeah, that's Rob.
Who's that?
Rob Ramsell. Disqualified.
Disqualified for track limits. Oh. Where did he go? Monza?
I'm not sure if that's for not doing his drive-through penalty or not.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So. Not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the disqualification for Rob. So, does that trump his 5 drive-throughs in the fun event?
I'd probably say. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Either way, it's great to see Dan out there fighting fit. Good to go. He is okay, for those who doesn't know. Monkey has sent a DM to Kelly. Monkey, you've ruined me fun, man.
I'm not okay, because I'm still getting over the company that I took him to casualty, and I sat there for 6 hours with him while the NHS decided what they were doing. So I'm not okay. I'm still tired from that episode. So, but Dan's all right. So, that's okay. And yes, I got your message. I did see that. I did get sent an invite for that. So I didn't.
No way. No way.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I didn't get an invite. I invited myself. I didn't realise. I didn't realise it was you. You hosting it, Andy.
It's up his neck of the woods, so I can only assume it's him that's hosting it.
Yeah.
The article.
Camp.
The article is a good read, and the reason why they've had to move it up Monkey's Boy's neck of the woods is even better. But again, it's not broadcastable, so have a read of the article, or I'll tell you after. But
I think we go back to Rob, Jane and Freddie a little bit on that one, to be fair. So, thanks for that. I hope you do well with that event.
Benny says, rest in peace, Rob, Hulk and Ozzy. Who's Rob? Obviously Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne, Rob. So get this, right, while there's a bit of a lull in the race...
They're not talking about Rob Ramsell's career, are they?
But I'm not sure, not 100% sure, but you'll appreciate this one. Anybody that's a British touring car fan may appreciate this one. Tuesday night, getting ready to go for the Ginettas. Shouts out to the missus, Ozzy Osbourne's passed away.
Yeah.
My eldest comes running downstairs, big touring car fan, my eldest. What's happened to Sam Osbourne?
Rob Osborne.
You know what I mean? Just nothing has happened to Sam Osbourne at all. The Napa driver, obviously, but
there's the relevance, isn't there? There's the generational gap. Probably no idea who Ozzy Osbourne is.
Yeah.
And well, I had it when we did the 24-hour with co-commentators Lexi and the other one. What's it called? Yoshi. Where they didn't know who Bob Geldof was. They didn't know who Bob Geldof was.
Wow. There we go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
generation gap.
Matt Wright here,
Matt,
up to P11.
Sorry.
Go on.
Smith on the back of on Matt Wright. Smith very close. Oh, he almost touched him there.
Smith changed tyres, didn't he, earlier on? So he's looking racy.
Yeah. Has been looking racy all evening, but as you say, he's on fresher tyres. He's in the slip now with Matt Wright. He's going to send one down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? I think Matt might be defenceless right out there on that one, and job done. Smith with a great move up the inside on fresher tyres.
Can I ask a question here now, because he's only 2.5 off the back of Ledger and Williams. Does Smith look like he could drive past these two with that extra grip of them new tyres?
Well, we will certainly see. I don't see it's beyond the beyond belief at all. So where's he? What's he got? Ledger and
I'm gonna have it to guess that Rob Smith is the leader of the tyre change runners. Because I don't think Overtaker took them. Williams and Ledger didn't. We know Dan didn't. So I'm at belief that he is the leader of the tyre change runners. So let's see where he can get in this race.
Ledger and Williams have both pitted very, very early. Now Ledger has been in close company with Williams all the way through this stint since they've been on since they've made a pit stop. Ledger being a gold driver, a platinum driver of Williams, he's kept him honest for many laps, hasn't he? And now is Rob Smith going to cruise up to the back of these on fresh tyres and give him a little spank on the way through?
Yeah, he has indeed. It's been an interesting one. And Rob Smith 2.3 sector 1. Let's see what it will be. Sorry, at the start line. Let's see what it will be at sector 1 if he's made any inroads at the moment. Chris saying that I had to explain to Ben the street light rule when I was a kid. Yeah, even I know the street light rule, so there we go. Did you inform them that he bought...
Street light rule?
I assume he means like in before the street lights come on or something.
Oh, right, okay. Right, oh, right, okay. Okay. I thought it was don't talk to women who stand under them. I don't know.
That's another solid one. Ben's
That's
into the pit lane.
Another one.
Yeah, Ben's in the pit lane at the moment. O'Reilly's got a good lead. Where's Sylph behind? Not yet through sector 1. We're still watching this. This is the closest fight on track here between that of Williams and Ledger. And this looks a juicy battle. With Rob Smith behind. Rob Smith got the gap down to 1.9 through sector 2.
Absolutely. Just in reply to Susie Cream Cheese's comment, and I was only trying to reference him in the context of charity giving and give us your money. I wasn't trying to make any assumption on your character, and each their own. And everyone's entitled to their opinion. All good. Oh dear. Yeah.
I'm just.
But I didn't know he was, so that's.
I'm just trying to have a think of driver of the day.
Oh God, there's one, isn't it? We have got a yeah. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking for my poll. I've got 2 drivers.
What are you thinking?
I've got 3 drivers I want to put on there, but the race ones. Rob Smith had a good race one. Yeah, he's down there. Ledger.
O'Reilly's in the pits.
Right. Yeah, right. Leaders in the pits. I'm going with this one. This is going to be my final option of. Oh no! So I've pressed the button and refreshed the page. So bear with me. I've got to type all that out again. So.
Chris, he said, did they have electric street lamps when you were a kid, Kelly, or still oil ones? It's very funny. I live in Cornwall. They're still all oil ones now. Honestly, we only just got that super fast, what do they call it? Super fast running water.
Water.
Let alone electric street lights. What are you talking about?
Right, Rob Smith, he's on the back of Ledger. Here we go. This is the game on. I've gone with Dan Davis, Ben Rook, over checkered. I've put a T on the end by accident. And Rob Smith. Let's get that one. Rob Ramsell. Well, I outdone myself. So he's classing that disqualification as bigger than the drive-through. So Rob has clarified that for us himself. He has outdone himself.
I disagree because it's very easy to not take your drive-through and then get a DQ. But, you know, to actually go out there and physically break the track limits 5 consecutive times.
Sorry, going to interrupt there. I know we're watching that fight between Smith, Ledger and Williams, but Dan, after O'Reilly comes out the pits, 0.3 of a second.
Wow. Yeah, certainly the undercut working well for Dan. I'm going to go on board and see what's going on with those. Dan looking, you know, racy on his tyres. Did O'Reilly take tyres? No, he wouldn't have done.
No, he wouldn't have done. No, the gap was 3 seconds behind to him and Dan. So we've got this fight, and we've got the fight between Williams and Ledger and Rob Smith. Smith's already ahead of Ledger as we chick back. So Smith's now running into P10. Williams, P12. McGowan, fastest man on circuit at the moment. O'Reilly and Dan now going at it. This is Dan's best opportunity. And Dan said, didn't he, in his interview, a reverse grid win, yeah, they're all right. He wants qualifying. He wants to qualify well. He wants a feature race win.
I'll take anything I can get, to be fair.
You've had 4 bronze race wins and 2 drivers of the day. So you pipe down.
No.
4 bronze wins and 2 drivers of the day. Pipe down.
You got the driver of the day is always special and it's better than a win. But I want to stand on the top step, Matt. What's wrong with that?
He was top step of bronze. Dan now looking to try and use that Lamborghini power over the Honda, and nobody cares. Okay, we'll go back and watch Williams and Smith then. The 2 fights, 2 cracking fights developing. Goudet, he's got Harris and Mike. In fact, no, Goudet hasn't, because Harris has passed him. Mike Matthews up the inside of John Goudet. It's all sorted to happen. Clayton's got Skunky on the back of him. That is pretty close as well. Just going to stay with this for a second. No, Skunky doesn't think of it. Dan, 4/10 off the back of O'Reilly. Has O'Reilly got enough in the tank?
Yeah, I think he has, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think he's got this all under control, to be honest. I think O'Reilly should have been on that Driver of the Day poll, to be honest.
I'm only saying not because of race 1's result. Oh, right, Dan nearly in the back of him. Dan nearly in the boot lid of O'Reilly there.
Yeah, but race 1, Dan did spin.
But race 1, Dan, yeah, but Dan finished 5th.
Yeah, but he started 4th.
Yeah. But, you know, you don't have to vote for Dan. There is Ben and Overtaker and Rob Smith, and if you disagree with them before, you could put it in the chat.
You're quite correct, Rob. You're quite correct. I am silver these days and not bronze. And if you get on, if those of you who are on the Discord,
drive-through penalty. I've just put Ben Rook down for driver of the day. He's got himself a drive-through penalty. That'll promote Overtaker, Van Zyl. That'll promote a lot. What is a drive-through around here? I bet it's a significant amount. Let's have a look. Where's my
so Ben Rook with a drive-through, and yes, Rob, as I said, I am now a silver driver. If those of you who are on our Discord, if you go into announcements, I must say some brilliant creative writing by Matt Wright, an absolute bit of masterclass in BS. The announcement that he put about me being moved from bronze to silver, I thought it was hilarious, absolutely brilliant. If you get a chance, have a look at it.
Goude's on the back of Mike Matthews once again. We've got Rob Smith hunting down that of Williams. Mustang versus Mercedes. Now, I'm going to put this one to you, Kelly. Going back to that battle between Dan and O'Reilly, which is no longer the closest fight on circuit.
It isn't, no.
Is O'Reilly's tyres in better shape with Dan being behind the bump for so long?
Possibly, yes, although this is ebbing and flowing, Matt, because O'Reilly goes a little bit wide towards the back end of the circuit. Dan's now reeled him back in again towards the last part, the last sector. Yeah, possibly. I think O'Reilly's got this under control. That's my thought.
Mike and John flashing the lights here. Mike's got some rear end damage to his car. I'm not sure if there's just been a scuffle there. I was just flicking between the battles. We've got McGowan on the back of Ledger, making this a four-way fight between Williams, Smith, Ledger and McGowan. Dan sticking with O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly's tyres are in a little better nick than Dan. Dan a little bit wide there. That could ping a track limit warning. Just got to be careful. I think Dan's tyres possibly hurt being behind the bump for as long as he was.
Yeah, it could be. I'll tell you who's on the move as well and who's flying is McGowan. He's now got the fastest lap and he's just dragged himself up behind Ledger to join this Ledger-Smith-Williams fight now. Keep an eye on McGowan. He's making moves.
He is making moves. Him and Smith, I think, are the lead two that changed tyres in this race. McGowan having a look on Ledger. They've passed Cairns as Cairns is exiting the pit lane. Ben has got to do his drive-through next lap. Otherwise, he could face the same consequence as Rob Ramsell.
He could, and then he could, be sitting on the sidelines as well. Worth taking a penalty at the end, like they do in Formula One? Question mark, says Chris R.
No, because he's got to do it next lap, and that's the game telling him, not us. So
it's not adding seconds. So if he doesn't, and McGowan having a look now at the back of Ledger. He puts one up the inside into the hairpin of 7. I think he's got that job done. Done and dusted. So McGowan moves on. What can he do about Smith? He's going to come up to Smith, and then the roadblock this Williams. Smith having a look up the inside as they move on to the back straight, but can't do anything with it. Williams has had Ledger behind him. He couldn't do anything. He's had Williams behind him for a few laps. He couldn't do anything, but McGowan is on the way. Can he make positions, or is he going to get stuck behind Williams like everyone else?
Well, Smith and McGowan have both changed tyres, so let's see what happens here.
Who's DQ'd?
I think he's just asking the question. Ben has got to come in. He's in for his drive-through now. So this will put Ben 28 seconds he's going to lose here. McGowan now on the back of Rob Smith.
Right on the back of Rob Smith.
He is really with him, isn't he now? Having a look up the inside, penultimate corner. Not really the corner to do it.
No.
Unless you're already up the inside. Rob then is going to lose time now to Williams. This could be a good fight here between these two. McGowan wide. Got to be careful of them track limits.
Yeah, McGowan needs to be careful. We don't know how many track limits, but it's 3 strikes and you're out on this track limit thing. If you don't know, the game decides what is is a penalty and what isn't. Again, McGowan on the very inside of that curb, taking a lot of curb. He's abusing these track limits, something rotten. Is it going to come along and bite him in a minute? And as I said, the game it decides what's track limits and what isn't, and there's no arguing with it. When it says it is. So that's something we've got to watch out with McGowan. He's looking racy, but also all over the track.
Yeah, he's looking racy, but also all over the track at the moment. O'Reilly and Dan very close out the final corner. You keep your eyes on McGowan and Smith.
Yeah.
We'll keep our eyes on this battle for the race lead as we enter the final 6 minutes of this race. It is O'Reilly from Dan, from Silf, from Carlos. Overtaker up to 5th after his very early pit stop. And then it's Rob Smith and Ian McGowan sat in behind at the minute. No warnings for Gowney, says Tips in the chat.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. Dan getting very close to the back of O'Reilly there. And nothing happening at the moment.
McGowan nearly ploughed into the back of Smith, had to go round the outside of the right-hander to avoid hitting into the back of him. Loses a little bit of ground as they go through the sequence of corners. This one is looking very tasty indeed. No warnings, that's impressive. He must be right on the limit.
Yeah, very impressive.
Exactly where you should be.
Very impressive indeed. Kelly, I'm going to stick with your battle. I've just got to step away a second.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'm on board. You guys are watching this battle. I'm literally on board with McGowan and having a look at the back of Smith. Smith having a look at Williams. Williams soaking up all this pressure around this track as they move into the 4, 5 and 6 combo. And tricky little combination here. The car goes loose one way or another. Always quite slippy. Easy to run wide on the way out. Good run down the middle straight, as you want to call it, into the hairpin. Nobody close enough at the moment. All nip and tuck as they come round. Smith with a wider line as he accelerates to power that Mustang. Dragging itself out of the corners as McGowan has a look around the outside. What's McGowan driving? McLaren. Good choice. Maybe a little bit nimbler around the corners than these two big monsters in front, the Mustang and the Mercedes, as they come round to this fast section on the back straight here. Fast right-hander, very fast right-hander. You brake for this one. Try not to go wide. It's one of those corners where you think you can go faster than you can. Or you end up going too slow and think, I definitely could have gone faster, if that made any sense whatsoever. McGowan having a look round the outside. Try and explain that a little bit better. It's a deceiving corner to what speed you can take it as McGowan goes very deep out onto the grass again. Tell me now, Tips, that he hasn't got a warning for that one. He was right out on the grass. He should have been O'Reilly with that one.
I'm back, Kelly, and I don't know what's happened at front, but just looking at that gap, Dan has lost over a second to O'Reilly now.
So I don't know.
Gap has opened up there. Silf's within 6 seconds of Davis, so we'll see what happens. 3 minutes just over left in this one to run here. Then Ben Rooks on the back of Matt Wright for position for 12th and 13th. This is Ben recovering from his drive-through penalty in this one. Dan's now back under a second, but Rob Smith, Gowney's not close enough now to Rob Smith. Rob Smith's a bit closer to Williams once again. Everybody seems to have been close to Williams, but without getting close enough.
They can't get past him, can they? That wide arch Mercedes must be the widest one ever, because apart from Mike Matthews and KLF, he must be one of the best defenders on the league.
He's not really defending though, Kelly.
He's just running his line.
Yeah, they're not close enough to attack him. Dan and O'Reilly across the line, gap at a second. So something happened to Dan's possibly made just a little mistake somewhere.
Only needs to be a little one, to drop off a second, or maybe Dan's just dropping back to cool his tyres, have another go at it. Maybe he's settled for second. We've only got 2 minutes left of the race. I didn't realise we were so close to the end, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we are. It's flew, but it's been a great night here at Misano. It's really been some good races. Chris is saying that Ben's got another 2 track limits warning. Dan tapped the back of O'Reilly and had a half spin.
There we go. Yeah, that would be what it was. Slowed down to keep position. Yeah, okay, well, thanks for that. We love your input on these things, guys. It's been a great night on the chat tonight as well. Thank you all for your input and your comments. It makes for a fun night.
Well, we've got a quick moment. While you're there, hit that thumbs up button, hit the bell to be notified when we go live, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Dan will be back live on Tuesday night with Alexa Marshall for the Ginettas at Poor Record. Dan will be back in the comms box for Poor Record Pro-Am, and myself and Kelly Sweet and Sticky will be back in your box on Thursday night for Pro as well. As well as go to the description and please check out our fantastic sponsors: Design Manchester's producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Head over to their Facebook page, link is in the description. And Audio Sport, manufacturer of VW Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk, and also their Facebook link is in the description as well.
I keep thinking of a new paragraph for that, but I haven't actually got one yet. But that's kind of outdated. But anyway, the leader is on the final lap. I think this is O'Reilly's got this done and dusted. You know, I don't think it's going to be Dan's going to be able to do anything about it. But even so, it'd be good solid points for the ex-champion, and he's been lacking a few results this season, and it'll be a good result, that's for sure.
Been a little inconsistent from himself, hasn't it? Caught up in incidences.
He's had a couple of seasons of that, hasn't he?
Yeah, sometimes he's made his own errors. You look at race 1, it could come back to finish P5 in race 1, but it was his own error that cost him in the first place, right? Which means Williams has got a lap time on for P6 from Rob Smith from McGowan. McGowan's actually attacking the back of Rob Smith. Rob Smith's very slow.
He was.
What was that about? Yeah, I'm not sure. Rob Smith is not a clue. Rob Smith McGowan drove past him. O'Reilly's on the back straight now, and this looks like O'Reilly could make sure that Honda keeps wins ahead of the Ford Mustang, and O'Reilly looks like he's going to come and finish his night off with a win. 1.3 to Dan. It'll take a monumental mistake from O'Reilly now to lose this one. Been an absolute belter of a race night tonight, Kelly.
Absolutely. Ben Rook's just putting a move on Matt Wright into the hairpin at the moment, and so he's still pushing for positions.
Here comes O'Reilly, race winner for round 14. Kieran O'Reilly takes the checkered flag. Dan will come across for a second place. It will be Silf in P3. Solid night for Silf. Carlos M a little way back at the moment in P14 in this one, but in P4, but I'm sure we'll take a P4 nonetheless. Been a good night of points for Carlos in this race as well. We've then got a bit of a gap back to that of
McGowan has closed right up. McGowan's close right up onto the back of Williams, but I don't think he's got enough corners to make it happen. As a look, tries to unsettle Williams, really. But it's going to be Overtaker took the 5th place and going to take the checkered flag. Best defender of the night, Williams there. And McGowan with a great drive and the fastest lap of the race.
Rob Smith's out of fuel. Rob Smith's out of fuel. That's what's happened to Ledger 8th, Cairns 9th, Harris 10th, Rook 11th, Wright 12th. Rob Smith 13th, he's only just got there. Mike Matthews stays ahead of John Goudet. Cardno P16, Van Zyl P17 in this one. It looks like it's going to be for him.
Yeah, Tibbs called it Smith fuel. Yeah, we should have seen that.
Hibbs 18, just Skunky and Clace coming through to finish P19 and 20, and then just Millington left, and drivers have started to disconnect, so it means it's going to mess up the results when they put them. So Skunky from Clace, and then Millington, so we'll have to wait till the end for the results. Millington coming through to finish the race himself as well. Through he comes now, and a lovely job from Steve Millington there then. So that is your race done and dusted. It is O'Reilly who is race winner from that of Dan Davis, with Silf on the podium. I'm just going to get the screenshots for these race results.
Mike Matthews already in the chat said the car felt horrible in that race. We did wonder, Mike, if those setup changes you made didn't make for such a great race car in the feature race. So struggling with that. And Chris saying, well done all, great night's racing. Great stream, lads, from FinFan. Yeah, it was a great night tonight. I mean, all this season has been brilliant. There's been some great action as well, but we had a really fun night this evening. And as I said, appreciate all the chat, because as I said, it gives us an extra element, and we're here to entertain.
Well, while we wait, let's head over into the Discord chat and get in the commentary box ready for the interviews.
Green light, go, go,
go. I hope so.
the commentary box. That is obviously KLF in the background. So we'll wait for anybody to come through with interviews. But Kelly, just round off tonight's action for us, sum it up and give us your driver of the day.
Sum up the night. Great night as usual. We haven't had an off round with these pro drivers. They've been so close and so consistent and so racy. We've had a great night every week, but particularly good night tonight. Particularly enjoyed it. As I said, some great banter in the chat as well this evening. And thank you to everyone to keep watching every week and getting involved. Driver of the day. I think I'm going to have to give it to Golden Boy in the end. But bar that little mistake. Yeah, I think O'Reilly needs an honourable mention. He controlled that race brilliantly from the front, from lights to flag, and I think he needs an honourable mention. But I'm going to give it to Boy Wonder, to Dan.
You're giving it Dan Davis.
And yourself?
Yeah, I think it's hard to look past Dan based off his results this evening. But
what's the votes?
The votes have gone the way of Dan in the chat as well.
Okay.
I want to give honourable mention to Overtake for his race 1 win. I thought he was fantastic. Ben before the drive-through was brilliant. O'Reilly race 2, fantastic. Great battle in race 1 as well. 3 honourable mentions: Ledger, Harris, and Rob Smith. Brilliant racing from them all night.
Absolutely.
I think they've been fantastic. I am just inputting the results. So while I am, we have got Dan and O'Reilly currently in the chat. Kelly, I will let you interview Boy Wonder, and you can take.
Okay. Okay. What up, lad?
What up?
What up? Good night tonight, Dan. Although a bit of a mistake in race 1, you managed to drop it all by yourself. What happened?
I found a bump that didn't know existed. Basically.
Oh, a new one.
Yeah. I actually threw away a win on that one. I think I could have easily have had an opportunity to annoy Overtaker on that one, but I knew the Lambo had pace and just found a bump too close to the inside of the kink, and it just unsettled the car and around she went. Luckily, I didn't lose too much, so 5th place in the end. Good recovery, but again, it's not the results I need at this point of the season. I need to start annoying the MSA boys a bit more. Now I'm starting to gel with the Fanatec and the Lambo again. I've got pace, I've got consistency, I've got to start using it now.
Absolutely, you've looked quick all evening, and you've certainly had pace around here. And a couple of days away from the sim rig, maybe did you a little bit of good, a little bit of a rest. But race 2, you were with Kieran all night, but not overly hassling him. Tell us from your point of view. Did you think it was ever on, or you just couldn't get close enough?
I definitely thought it was on. The Bont kind of split us, and throughout the week, me and O'Reilly have been in here trading lap times and trading race pace as well. So I felt that we were the race win was definitely on. I just needed to clear the Bont, and then obviously the tyres are going to be a massive issue here. So I just took my time to kind of just worm my way back onto the back of him, and then I thought we had massive traffic, and I thought now's the time to pit. Get in, he'll be held up a little bit, I'll be able to clean air. Luckily I dropped into clean air and come out just next to him, and I had a slide just as he comes out, and I could have gone up the inside, but I didn't want to make contact with him going into a silly situation.
Absolutely. And are you starting to find your form again? Is it, you've had a poor car choice last season, you've had a change of equipment this season moving to the Fanatec. Do you feel that you're starting to find your form again?
I've seemed to find a setting that seems to be quite nice on the Fanatec, and obviously going back to something I know and love in the Lamborghini gives me confidence. So I think I'm starting to get there. I wouldn't say it is back, but tonight definitely showed a circuit that I do enjoy very, very much. Last time I was here, I raced in the Lexus and took a win in there. So it is a circuit that I tend to do quite well around. So fingers crossed for the rest of the season. We have got a British track later on. Well, 2 of them.
Oh, we know. We know how that goes for you. Yeah.
So hopefully,
the ones you hate. Yeah.
The ones I hate. Hopefully, I can start giving them a hard time. And I thoroughly enjoyed the fight with O'Reilly. You know, this guy is like on top of this league at the minute. I mean, you have Silf and Tordok who are rapidly quick. You got Williams as well, but O'Reilly just seems to be incredibly consistent. And just trying to make a mistake is the hardest thing ever. I was making more mistakes than he was. So, spectacular drive once again from O'Reilly.
Absolutely, and long may it continue. So, like Matt tends to do, for the last question, we move to Ricard. I particularly like Paul Ricard, but it's horrendous to watch with all those stupid stripy lines. For you, what, do you like the track? How do you feel you're going to go next week?
If history repeats itself, then no, I'm going to hate it.
Right.
The last time I was at the Lamborghini, the fast right-hander on the back straight, I dropped it and actually rage quit. And that was the only time I've ever rage quit. And that was in the old Evo Lambo. And I tested it not long ago, and this Evo does exactly the same thing. So...
Look out.
Yeah, we might have to do a lot of tweaking and change it, but hopefully I can dial it out. I know what roughly I'm doing now, and hopefully we can find a sweet spot. Again, track limits with Paul Ricard, it's just, it's one of those circuits, it's just poo. It's just poo.
Okay, well, obviously Dan's not a fan. As I said, I quite like driving Paul Ricard. I hate it to watch. But as I said, all the stripes kind of make my head go fuzzy. But anyway, Dan, tonight... result for the team, a 5th and a 2nd. Well done this evening.
Yeah, cheers, man, and well done to Overtaker for race 1, and well done, of course, O'Reilly for the win. Sylph, brilliant drive as always, coming from the pack. So cheers, boys.
Absolutely, and talking about Kieran O'Reilly, your winner is in the chat with us. Kieran, how are you?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm here. Sweating.
No doubt.
That one.
You made that Honda sing in race 2. Just sum up your evening a little bit. Tell me what kind of rocked and sucked for you this evening.
Yeah, so race 1 was going okay, to be fair. Seemed to didn't have the best of pace, to be fair. Was pushing the tyres a little bit, and then was starting to get back through the pack. I think we could have been on for maybe a 5th if we would have kept it together, but me and Williams, we had a nice little battle coming out of there.
That's right. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
kept it clean. Unfortunately, just coming out of the last bend, we can't figure out what really happened. To be fair, there was nothing in it. It just sort of spat us both sort of out.
Yeah.
So very unfortunate, but managed to keep it going in a straight line and bring it home.
Yeah.
So that was what it was, and obviously race 2. Quali was a bit tricky, to be fair. Ended up getting into a bit of traffic, getting out a bit late, so I was stressing a little bit with that, but managed to put it on pole, which is always a blessing.
Yeah.
And just tried to control the race, to be fair. I knew that the tyres were going off, even in the sprints in the Honda, so it was very, very tricky tonight to keep it together. And obviously, I ended up boxing, coming short on my box, and I thought it was over at that point. come out side by side with Dan near enough, and luckily just managed to defend the position and bring it home. So yeah, overall it's a brilliant night's racing.
Absolutely, and I was on board with whoever was behind you in that first race incident with you and Williams, and to me it looked like the two of you just kind of come together, just touched very slightly, and like sometimes ACC does, you touch very slightly, and the both of you kind of spear off in different directions. So I think it was one of those things in that one from where I was sitting. But in race 2, you seem to have this control. You seem to be controlling the pace of the race and have it all under control. And as you say, you're sweating nicely there, and I'm sure you're going to tell me that it wasn't as easy as that, but it certainly looked a very nice controlled race. Are you beginning to look at the championship, beginning to believe in the championship, or are you just taking this race by race?
Yeah, I mean, I do look, but it's tricky now because the race 1, like with the way the reverse grid is so much harder now. So it's hard to get up through the pack, and you sort of know now it's going to be very rare to maybe slap it, come home in P1 with that, or maybe even top 3.
Yeah.
So it depends on the feature race now, and you've got to sort of perform for that. So you do have to obviously look at the standings, and it'll spur you on, but also I think it can get into your head a bit if you sort of follow that too much. So we just take each race as it comes at the minute. I'm just trying my hardest to stay consistent with it. Obviously, finding the pace in the feature races is the main thing, really. It's always good to bring it home. So yeah, we'll just got to take it race by race and not think about it too much, to be fair.
I think what you said is exactly right. I think the reverse grid is incredibly hard to get through the traffic. Such is the level of drivers that you just can't, steam your way through the pack. It just isn't possible. And I think I think you're exactly right on what you say there. So look, we go forward to Paul Ricard. What Dan says that it's poo. How do you feel about Paul Ricard next week?
I actually do like the track. I just don't know if I'm going to enjoy it in the Honda. It's going to be coming down that back straight. It's going to be so tough. It was hard tonight coming down the back straight. The Honda just wants to dive and spit you around. So it's going to be a tough race, tough night even. So we're going to have to do a little bit of testing again, try and get to grips with the track. But like I say, I do like the track. So all I can hope for is we can keep it together and have a good result again.
Absolutely. Again, you're quite right. Very long back straight at Paul Ricard into a very fast right-hander. So we'll see how that pans out for you next week. But great result this evening. A very well controlled, dominant win in the feature race this evening, and leading the championship at the moment, of course. And we wish you the best of luck and congratulations for this evening.
Yeah, appreciate it. I just want to give obviously a shout out to Dan. Good pressure towards the end. Obviously I had a little bit of a bump, but there was nothing in that. It might have been me braking a bit early, or Dan missing his brakes a bit, but there's no hard feelings there.
Excellent.
So yeah, big up Dan. Good pressure in the end, and it's obviously nice to see him, back on form and whatnot. So yeah, thanks boys.
Brilliant, absolutely, and you're exactly right. A good, clean racing is what we want, and certainly loads of that this evening. So again, that's your top two who are in the box anyway. We didn't take it tonight. A great first race win for him. He's here, is he? He's here he is on the bottom of my list. Okay, right. We'll move on to Yam. Yam first, before we go any further, in the practice, I didn't mean to crash into the side of you. I'm just not as good a driver as you. So I apologise for that when we were playing around in practice. But we move on from that, and another sprint win. Tell me a little bit about your night.
Yeah, no hard feelings.
No, it's only practice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I had to give you a couple of flashes. You got my message, and
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my evening race one. I could get used to it, starting from pole, finishing first. It was pretty standard. The Bond put me a little bit on pressure, but I managed to hold him off. Race two was, I knew that was even before the season started with the new format. I knew I was gonna struggle in the future races. Yeah, because it just doesn't suit my driving style. I can be with the guys if I have a good night up front, but over an hour and 10 minutes on the same tires, it's not possible for me. So I tried no tire change, but yeah, it's still a good position, P5. I think I did my best I could today, but still it pains me to be this far off of the top guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean. Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? With the tyre change, you lose so much time in the pits, and making those tyres go all the way is extremely difficult. But you're moving forward, looking a bit more form in the last few weeks. Again, we move on to Paul Ricard. How's Paul Ricard for you?
I respect the track because I think it's one of the hardest tracks to get it right. Yeah. Especially setup-wise, there's so much you can do. You can go low wing, you can go high wing. Yeah. But I think my Main concern is I haven't done a lot of laps there.
Yeah.
So, but I like the track. So, and I hope the Mustang is going to be strong there. So, let's see what I can get.
Absolutely, and if you like the track, that's half the battle, isn't it? Because it's more of a pleasure to drive if you actually like the track that you're driving on. Great night's racing from you again. Congratulations on the win, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you, and congrats to winners and pole position of Fit Race. So I hope to see you next week again in the reverse grid.
Absolutely. Matt, you still there? You nodded off.
Yeah, no, I'm still here, Kelly. Don't worry about that one. Been trying to get everything up to date and ready to go. The championship standings are as follows, and O'Reilly leads the way. Dan, get off the championship standings. You're not meant to look until I've read them out. O'Reilly leads the way by 11 points from Williams, with Silf in P3, 29 behind. Ben Rooks up to P4, 51 off the lead. Thanks, Dan, with Carlos P5. Dan Davis is P6, 67 off the back. So that gap, there was 100 points between the top 10. Before the first race, is only 67 between the top 6 now. 7th place is Hooper, 214 behind. Then it's McGowan and Clouden, 8th and 9th, with Tardock dropping to 10th. De Bont's up to 11th with Overtaker in 12th, ahead of Umut Oza. Mike Matthews, 6 points clear of Matt Wright, your leader in the gold category, with Hibbs up to 3rd from Van Zyl. Sny, Ledger, who was your race 2 gold winner. Skunky, Cairns, Goudet, Harris, Smith, Ramsell, Cardno, Hoffer, Stardock Place, Lino, Hayho, Millington, Stein, and then Sullivan. Constructors wise, it is Yin Yang Racing, 50 points clear of Dapper Racing, with Team Audio Sport 54 behind them. NSA RP4 with Cloud9 in 5th from SimPlay Racing. Team GBR P7 from Bam 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 Racing P8. Team RRM P9, Greasy Bandits P10. AS Racing P11, Good Night for them too, with Roadrunner Motors P12. Utopia 30, Full Send Fjord Lords 14th. Quantum from Afrikaans, and then Effect Motorsport bringing up the rear. What a night's worth of action it's been, Kelly. It was absolutely fantastic here at Misano. It really was a cracking night's worth of racing. Yeah,
I think Ian Thompson was the last comment on the chat, and I think he summed it up brilliantly. Thanks, chaps. That was really entertaining tonight, really lively and a great vibe. I think that sums it up really well. There was been a great vibe this evening. There's always a great vibe between you and me, but with the added chat, it's been absolutely great. And we've had another great night's racing. These pro guys never fail to disappoint, do they? They always racing every week, and tell your friends all about it. And I know I've got plenty of I haven't, or the channel's got plenty of followers that I bump into in everyday life who are absolutely just loving this racing. It's great action, so tell everyone, they're missing out.
Yeah, tell everyone. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified, and subscribe if you are new. Dan Davis and Alexa Marshall, all being well with service, should be in the commentary box Tuesday evening for Paul Ricard in the Who Darren Cup. Dan will be back on Wednesday night for the Pro-Am Series, and then myself and Kelly will make a return, sweet and sticky, in your box on Thursday night for Paul Ricard. In the Pro Series. How
do you feel about it?
I'm the same as you. I'd rather be in Manicourt any day of the week.
Manicourt's absolutely. Yeah. If I had to go to France, that's where I have to go. But I don't dislike Paul Ricard. But don't you find when you're watching the Formula One and stuff like that those blue lines just don't they make your head go fuzzy? They make my head go fuzzy, man.
I think the track's a good track. I think one of the last races we did at Paul Ricard, it was monsoon weather, and it was flooded. The track condition didn't say wet; it said flooded. Let's see what the weather's going to be.
I had a podium there once. I don't know if it's on ACC with Holty. Racing, no, Holt. Argent, one of them. Yeah, anyway,
because it wasn't on Pro Cars too, but or maybe F1 actually, possibly, who knows? But either way, it's been a fantastic night's worth of action. We head to France, we stay in Europe next week as we are entering that back end of the season. And if you're wondering where them night races are, don't you worry, because they are coming back to back.
I was worried,
and we are heading there. After Paul Ricard, we've got Paul Ricard next week. Suzuka and Laguna, the 2 night races. Spooky Laguna at night.
Spooky Laguna.
And that one. Snetterton is week 11. Week 12 at Valencia and week 13 at Donington Park, which is your evening race for the season. So it should be an interesting one. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. What a night's worth of pros. We head to Paul Ricard in France next week. The Honda comes out on top here in Italy. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Good night.